the third annual Bounce Back Conference. So I hope that you are ready for the ride. Today is going to fly by because we're on an adventure together on this journey. And I am so very excited to.
As you are here today, I'm also here to learn from these ladies because they are all phenomenal and they all have something that I've never heard before, that I've never seen before. So I can't wait. Be prepared to pass along.
And it will be my honor to tell you my story, how I turned these things, stones, into feathers.
You can breathe, you can move if you like. This is a very good song. Let's go.
Rise and shine, rise and shine. It is your time to rise and shine today.
Be nice to yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Go with the pace. So with that, I want to welcome all of you.
Growth challenges us to part ways with what no longer serves us, to accept that a particular season has come to an end, and to open our hearts and our minds to receive the unknown.
Focus on your goals even when the mood is left, right? So how do we generate that self-motivation? How do we stay consistent even when life gets tough? Now I'm going to share with you guys a very simple but very effective 4-step process
or opportunity to decide that this is the end of your 3 days of weeping and pity. You're going to get up and break through the brokenness.
Have built upon each other, and I'm going to just close us out with calm and share another framework that you can use to go from the chaos in your mind to clarity and confidence.
On the inside and the outside. So ladies, I wear my crown.
Amazing. Like I was sitting down like, Lord help me. Do I have anything else to say? But God is good. So I bring you greetings from the United Kingdom. I'm excited to have you girls.
I'm fearless. I have no fear of the problems that are coming to me. Problems are good. Struggles are good. They are necessary to write my best-selling story. And these problems make me grow, make me who I am.
My story
and break
is going to fly by because
excellence have built upon each other. And
good.
I'm
The
fearless.
season has come.
It's a new
my story.
each other.
Welcome to the Bounce Back Empowerment Conference. Now say this with me. Bounce back. Yes, I can. Unstoppable. Unstoppable, free and fearless. Unshakable.
Bounce back, bounce back. Unbreakable, unshakable. Nothing stops you in your track. Bounce back, bounce back. Uplifted, inspire, feel your positive unpack.
Never, ever. Never giving up. Encouraged, uplifted, inspired, empowered, motivated.
Bounce back, bounce back. Unbreakable, unshakable. Nothing stops you in your track. Bounce back, bounce back. Uplifted, inspire, feel your positive unpack.
Yes, yes, yes I can. Yes I will. Yes I believe. Yes, yes, yes. Heart, be still.
Bounce back, bounce back. Unbreakable, unshakable. Nothing stops you in your track. Bounce back, bounce back. Uplifted, inspire, feel your positive unpack.
Bounce back, bounce back, bounce back.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, or ladies, and if any gentlemen join, if this is not an intro, I don't know what is. Literally, it's just an amazing, amazing welcome to each and every one of you. And I am just so excited for today's festivities. You are at the 3rd annual Bounce Back Conference. So I hope that you are ready for the ride. Today is going to fly by because we're on an adventure together on this journey. And I am so very excited to really just open up with our amazing host, our just amazing, just facilitator of this experience, the dream, the journey, just the amazing Dr. Stem, who's going to open us up today. And I just want to just let her give a few words, and then we will start getting into the amazing festivities of today. I'm Sabria Charles, your MC, and let's get it.
Thank you, Sabria. You know what, before we even start, please give yourselves a hand of applause. Please. Thank you. And you know why? Because I love doing this at the end of the year. And I work with business women. We are exhausted. It's been quite a year. So when we come, it's almost like that end, of the year bang, as I always call it. Hey, let's end the year with a bang. So I applaud all of you ladies, especially all the guest speakers that are here today. Our beautiful singer, Dr. Betty, who's here. You can hear Sabria, even working with her as we were preparing, you could tell she's that vivacious of a person. I'm so excited because for all of you that I guess, here that are, coming in to watch, or those of you that will be watching this afterwards, I've been following these ladies for quite a while. And by the time that they made it on stage for you, I knew without a shadow of a doubt that they have something to share with you. I knew without a shadow of a doubt that if you are ready to bounce back better, because we've been bouncing back every moment, but if you're ready to bounce back better this 2023, then you want to pay attention to these ladies, because they have one or two or even more tools that you can use. And that's what I love about it. If you have not received your goodie bag, please make sure that you tell us in the chat, because we're going to follow up with you to make sure you get your goodie bag, because the goodie bag is where they all the speakers put something in there for you for free. It's almost like a Christmas gift, right? New Year gift, but they put something in there for you so that you can have something from each one of them. So I'm excited that we are here on the 3rd annual Bounce Back Empowerment Conference. I love the words. What do you guys think in the chat? Let me know, because this was my first time producing a song. That's me that you hear in the Bounce Back theme song. Rapping, because I didn't know I could rap, but Dr. Betty is the singer, but I didn't know I could rap. So I want to also thank Mr. Winner, who is my producer in the studios where I record all my audiobooks. He's the one that said, wait a minute, can we produce a song for you, a theme song for your conference? And I'm looking at him like, can we produce? Yeah, you are the singer, you produce. He's like, no, you're gonna say something. I need you to come up with some words that you can write that entail, the empowerment conference. What do you want the ladies to know? And I'm thinking, I can't write words. He's like, no, just write as if you're writing to the ladies and tell them what this Bounce Back conference is about. So that's where you hear unstoppable, free and fearless, and nothing can stop you in your tracks. And before I knew it, I was rapping, and we literally produced it. So it's a record that's actually produced. So, if ever you're doing TikTok and you want to put a Bounce Back, theme song behind it, you now can get it on TikTok. Why am I sharing that? I'm sharing this because I want to empower, inspire, and encourage each and every one of you. There is nothing that you can do. You can't say, I can't speak, I can't sing, and I can't do this. The minute that you say, yes, I can, which is one of the things that I have in the song, yes, I can, it's amazing what comes out of you, because I've listened to that song, tears and all, over and over again. And I'm like, wow, 2022, thank you, because I've been able to actually produce a song, and I can say, yep, if you ever produced a song, I can raise my hand and say, yay, I did. So As we start this day, I have one word that I wanted to share with you, and that word is prepared. Prepared. Let me tell you what I mean by prepared. I came up with, as an acronym. So the P stands for positivity, positivity. You cannot be at the Bounce Back Empowerment Conference without being positive, without positivity. So if you're tuning in today, or you will be listening to it afterwards, that's the first key to the door of bouncing back, being positive. The R is for receptive. Once you bring your positivity in, be receptive. As I said, these speakers have been preparing for this for months and months, and they're ready to just pour their hearts, to all of you. So be receptive. I can guarantee you, and this I will guarantee, I don't guarantee too many things, but I'll guarantee you, one or all of them will speak to your heart. There's a message that each one of them, or maybe just one, has for you that will resonate with you and take you to your next level. The E is for engaged. See, it's all about positive engagement, mindset, our mindset. That's the one thing that I'm really touching into, the mindset. Come in here free and fearless, like you've never learned anything in your life before, but just be ready to be filled. The P is pass along. Be ready to pass along the information that you learn here. I can tell you, I've been in this business of speaking, motivating, inspiring, counseling people for over 25 years. The best way that I have learned is to pass it on to others, to teach others what I learn. So as you are here today, I'm also here to learn from these ladies, because they are all phenomenal and they all have something that I've never heard before, that I've never seen before. So I can't wait. Be prepared to pass along. The A is for abundance. Who doesn't want abundance? And I don't mean just abundance of monetary abundance. That's number one. We used to make it, money and wealth, and we'll make it, I want it, but that's not my priority. Yeah, that is priority. Number one, abundance. But we want abundance of learning more, being, versatile, because what we did was we got speakers from around the world. India, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, United States. Even in the United States, we got people from different states. So let me tell you, it's a variety that you need, that abundance to learn, from all of them. And then the R, I have it for real and ready. Real means stay in your own lane. There might be information that will take you outside of your comfort zone, or that might make you feel like, ooh, I don't even think I have all that. I don't think I can get that. Be real to yourself. You are all that. You can do whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing. So just be real and ready to be the best version of yourself, to come out. I was telling my brother the other day, and he's like, well, with your social media, I said, wait, stop. I want to make sure that I celebrate each step that I'm better than yesterday, because I'm too old. So I say, I don't want to be scaring myself and saying, I need to do all this. One step at a time. I'm better. This year, I had so much enthusiasm about the bounce back than last year. I was recording and dancing and I'm screaming. I'm like, yeah. I said, that's better than last year. So please, let me just celebrate that credit. Do the same thing. Be real and ready. And then E is for emerge. I want to encourage you to open yourself up to emerge from this conference better than you logged in, which means you're ready to fly to wherever 2023 will take you. I know it's opening up and it's saying, where do you want to go? And that's what I hope for you, that you'll be able to get clarity or to have a start of saying, I'm not just going to be everywhere and anywhere. I know this is exactly where I'm going. And what we put together are topics that will help you get on that track. And finally, the D, do not be a doubting Thomas. Remember when we were young, when we sang that song, don't be a doubting Thomas, who never kept his promise. Why worry, 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 when you can pray, right? Just don't be a doubting Thomas. There's nothing that is impossible. Nothing that is impossible. I believe that if I can do it, if each and every speaker that is here can do it, guess what? You can do it too. Doesn't mean that you'll do it, like tomorrow, but in your own time, at your own pace. Remember that real being reality. Just be good to yourself. I always tell my clients, I'm like, be nice to yourself, be gentle with yourself, go with the pace. So with that, I want to welcome all of you. And again, to thank each and every speaker. Thank you for working with me. I know I was inboxing you, every now and then I'm emailing, I'm inboxing, but every one of you were gracious, to work with me. I do have every one of you recorded on the Dr. STEM show. And right after the bounce back, you're going to start to see yourselves being profiled, because I wanted to make sure that the people don't forget you, that the people will remember you as we enter 2023. With that, I can't wait. I'm ready. Back to you, Sabria.
Thank you so much, Dr. Stem. I hope y'all were looking in the chat at this wonderful acronym to really keep you grounded in this process. And as y'all know, this is being recorded. So for those, whether you're live or whether you're in the replay, we just invite you to be as present as possible on this journey with us together, because after all, we are all in this together and we are all trying to find a way to navigate this thing called life. And we're going to help each other with those tools today. And so with that being said, I want to take a few minutes to give you all the opportunity to set some intention before we get into all the meaty content. Let's take time to just allow ourselves to set a moment of intention and to meditate in this space. So I want to encourage you all to take a moment, and I want you all to I want you to gently close your eyes and relax your body, relax your shoulders. Take a nice, slow, deep breath in and release that breath slowly through your lips, in a small hole through your lips. Take another deep breath in through the nose. And as you release that breath slowly, allow your shoulders to sink in below you. Allow your hips to sink into the chair that you're in. And as you breathe out, I want you to release any negativity that you may be carrying, any tenseness. This is your time and space. Release that for now. Take another deep breath in and release it slowly. In this moment, I want you to reflect on what is one thing you hope to seek from today's conference. What is one thing that you hope to take away? I want you to take a moment and say that to yourself out loud or hear it in your head. Maybe it's inspiration. Maybe it's hope. Maybe it is prepared, being just simply prepared for the future, whatever that is. Go ahead and lock into that thing that you're looking for from today. Take a deep breath in, out slowly. They say what you focus on, you receive. So I want you to turn your focus to whatever you seek today. Be in the space for a moment. Say what you seek out loud. Go ahead and put it out in the world. Let it be heard, let it be known. All right. Open your eyes. Let's release. Let's be here. Let's be present. And I am so, so happy to welcome our first presenter. We are going right on in. So with that, before I do that, though, I want to encourage you, if you want to share whatever you wrote down or said in your head, whatever that is that you seek for today, I would love for you to share in the chat. It's going to be great for the other presenters to see that. It's going to be good for others so that we can make sure that we are conspiring with the universe, conspiring with God and everything out there to ensure that we make sure that you get that thing. So if you said hope or inspiration, whatever that word is, that phrase, please do drop it in the chat. Yes, I'm seeing new awareness and expansion. Beautiful. Continue to drop that in the chat. And so allowing everybody to see and share that with you. And with that being said, I'm so excited, so very excited to welcome our first presenter today, Miss Natasha Eakes Saman. She's going to be talking about today why the way we have been thinking about motivation is all wrong. This topic is really going to call us out on how we've been perceiving motivation. And so let me give a little background on her. So Natasha, she's a salon owner. She's a 2-time bestseller. She's an award-winning author, TEDx speaker. I mean, she's all over the world. I mean, like all over the place, which is amazing. She's been featured in multiple publications from Muna Lucci, Bridal to the LA Tribune, Hudson Weekly, and she was a recipient of the 2019 Certificate of Recognition from the California Senate. So this woman has been around the world and back in her experiences. She moved from a troubled childhood of addiction, and she even had 2 attempts to take her own life on the journey. But she returned to a path of finding strength, breaking through those insurmountable obstacles, and becoming the person she's always wanted to be. This successful salon owner, a loving mother, a loving wife. And outside of that, she takes the time to also coach people. And she provides regular free haircuts to homeless shelters through the Bay Area. Her passion is to empower others and to make the world a better place for everyone. Without further ado, I want to welcome the wonderful Natasha to take the stage.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It has been amazing already. That meditation had me breathing in everything positive I want to receive and breathing out all negativity, all doubts, everything I want to let go of. I hope you guys are enjoying this morning because I am over here fired up. I've been taking notes already. I got my little acronym going. I am excited to be with you. And it's so funny because some of the things that have already been said, even though we just started, are so in alignment with what I'm going to talk about today. Even the theme of the bounce back, right? We all, raise your hand if you got something you need to bounce back from. We all have been through something. These last few years have been a lot. There have been a lot of good, but it's been a roller coaster of emotion. It's been difficult. We've been forced to reevaluate pretty much everything, right? During COVID, a lot of us had to really sit down and look at our careers, look at our lives, look at our relationships and see, are we in alignment with who we want to be? Are we in alignment with where we're trying to go? And can we really continue on that path in the most powerful and effective way possible? So one of the things that Dr. Stem touched on that I absolutely love about the end of the year, right, is that the new year brings this very special energy. There's something about stepping into the new year that so many of us have these new goals, right? They say that most of the people that are signing up for dating sites, it's from December to February. Most of the new signups at the gym are in January and February, right? There's something about the new year where we really are motivated to be the best possible version of ourselves. But what's also happening is that people are falling off in March and April. I think 50% of new businesses that are started, they end up failing. Not because of anything lacking from the person that's starting the business, but because so often people are lacking the tools that are necessary to see their dreams to fruition. Why? Well, one of the main reasons is that people are waiting to feel motivated in order to take action on their goals, right? And so entrepreneurs, we're very passion driven. Women in general, right? We're pouring into our spouses, into our children, into our businesses, but often forgetting to pour into ourselves. And so a huge part of staying consistent and actually following through on these really big, these really large goals is figuring out how to stay motivated and how to take consistent action to follow through on your goals, even when the mood has left, right? So how do we generate that self-motivation? How do we stay consistent even when life gets tough? Now, I'm going to share with you guys a very simple but very effective 4-step process that I've been using, that my clients use. I teach a 90-day book writing course. And if you guys don't know, writing a book, I think they said only 2% of people that actually want to write a book go through with it. And I won't say it's 100% because it's not. But right now I have about a 75% success rate in my book writing course. And it's because, yes, I teach you how to write the book, but I'm teaching you these skills so that you can continue to stay focused and stay motivated, even when you don't feel like it. So you guys got a little bit of my background, but it's important I share just a little bit more in a little bit of the time that we have so you can really understand how I came up with this and why it became effective for me and the people that I work with. So as a child, I really suffered with my self-esteem. My mom was in and out of my life. She lived in motels, so it just wasn't a very consistent or healthy situation. And as a kid, I always say it's hard to see the value in yourself when your parents don't see it in you. And even adults can understand that. Maybe you're in a relationship where you've been abused or talked down to or consistently cheated on, and you start to kind of diminish a little bit and start to kind of lack that sense of self-worth. And so for me, by the time I was 9, I had my first suicide attempt. And then at 16, I had another attempt, which actually left me hospitalized. And I made a decision in there for a variety of reasons I don't have time to get into, but I made a decision in there that that would be the last time that I would try to take my own life. But choosing not to die didn't mean that I knew how to live. And so my next few years were spent homeless and addicted. I was sleeping on buses and in coffee shops, and it was absolutely the lowest point of my life. I didn't feel motivated. I didn't see a way out. I didn't think I could be successful. I had dreams kind of buried within me that I wanted to achieve, and they weren't even that specific. I just wanted the basics. I wanted to feel good. I wanted to feel loved. I wanted to feel happy. And yes, I wanted money. I was homeless, right? I wanted to be able to take care of myself. And so I ended up getting pregnant. My now ex-husband, but still great friends, ended up getting pregnant. And I knew that I had to change my life, or she was going to be brought into the same cycle that I was living in. And so I had to figure out, how do I take steps? How do I follow through on these goals? How do I become successful even when I don't see a way out? And so I implemented what I'm going to share with you guys today. And that took me to, at 26, I had opened my own hair salon. And remember, at 20, I was still homeless, still addicted, still struggling. I had my daughter at 21. By the time I was 26, I opened my own hair salon. I was making over 6 figures the first year. Within a few years, as was mentioned earlier, we started giving back in the community. We do tons of events every month, providing free haircuts in shelters and hospitals for children who are terminally ill and so forth. And then after that, years went on and COVID happened. And so I was happy. The salon was going well. It had been running now for 10 years. It was successful. And then I was forced to sit down. And I'm like, things are good, but do I really feel like I'm fully in alignment with where God has called me to be? And when I say that, I'm not saying my way is the only way. I am open to everybody's belief. That's just what I call them. Whatever you call them, it's all good. I never want to alienate anybody with these statements. But for me, I felt like, yes, life is good, but there's something more deep in my spirit, and I don't even know exactly what it is, but I feel it, and I need to take action. I need to figure out what that thing is. What am I being called to do? And I had what I call this divine download. It's when God or the universe just drops something in your spirit. And I said, ooh, I think I'm supposed to write a book. Terrified. That's not what I've been doing. I haven't been sitting and writing. I didn't even own a laptop, right? Because I've been in the salon all the time. What am I going to do? So I decided to write this book. And I did it. And I was scared and I was terrified. And I put it out to the world. And it was so vulnerable. I was so terrified about how it would be received. And before I knew it, it literally won, at this point now, 4 awards. It led to me being invited to speak on a TEDx stage. I'm very nervous. Like, I don't even usually wear t-shirts because I'm a sweater. Like, I need a tank top. Because if I get in front of people, my palms are sweating. Like, this is not what I naturally do. But I had to take me out of it and look at what God called me to do and understand that I won't connect with everybody. But if one person gets one thing from my story, I'm doing what I was supposed to do. And so that opened up this whole new world for me. And I share that with you so that I'm not getting up here saying, oh, I'm super successful and follow my steps. I am successful and I still have difficult moments. I'm successful and I still get depressed. I'm successful and I still struggle, and I implement what I'm going to share with you today to move through those times, to shorten the gap from where I am to where I'm trying to go. So this process is to help you stay motivated so you can take action, consistent action, and follow through on your goals to get you to where you are trying to be in record time. It is a 4-step process. Number 1, when life happens, let yourself have the pity party. Like, we sometimes are almost, I can't think of the exact word for it, but almost trying so hard to be positive, right? We're getting online and everything is good, everything is great, but we don't allow ourselves to be human and feel those emotions. And we stuff it down and we stuff it down, and then one day we break. Either you fall back into drinking, or you yell and scream at your kids, or you give up on your dreams because you have put unrealistic and superhuman expectations on your back that nobody can live up to. So give yourself time to feel those emotions. Give yourself time to have the pity party. However, the key component to this one is putting a time limit on it. And that depends on what you're going through. So, for example, when I was starting my salon, I had somebody run off with thousands of dollars, didn't finish what he was supposed to do. And I was upset. I didn't have the money in my account. I didn't know what I was going to do. And I didn't feel like being proactive. I didn't feel like going out there and making things happen. So I literally whined, cried, and complained for 3 days. But that was my time limit. And then on day 4, because he didn't finish my floors, I said, well, I have enough money to get those little peel and stick floors from Home Depot. They are the best thing, but they'll look good. And I can go in there and lay those down myself, right? So have your pity party and put a time limit on that. That's very, very important. And let me tell you guys before I step into number 2, I'm not going to share anything that is going to be like, I have to read 4 books to understand this. No, it's simple enough to share it with your 12-year-old, but effective enough to change your life and to use from the age of 10 to 80. Okay, so number 2, remembering your big vision and your why. What is your big vision? So when things are happening, I've had my pity party, I've cried, I've complained, and now my time is up. Let me go back to the basics. Let me meditate. Let me get in tune with myself. Let me remember, what is my big vision? What am I going for? That could be creating a closer bond with you and your child. That could be launching your business. That could be, speaking on a TEDx stage. What is my vision? And then number 3 is going to be breaking down those goals. You guys, this is a huge reason why people do not follow through, is because they have this big idea. I want to start a big business. I want to make $1 million. And they have not created a roadmap to get there. If you're in California, you hop in your car and you want to drive to New York, and you don't have your GPS, you don't have the steps, and you don't know how you're going to get there, you may eventually land in New York, but I promise you it's going to take you years longer than it would have taken you if you knew exactly where you were supposed to go. So that even when you detour, even when you pop a tire, even when you run out of gas, you can still get back in alignment and get back to where you're trying to go. So a quick example, I know I only have a few more minutes. Quick example would be, let's say your goal is to launch a new business. All right, cool. What are the components that you need to do that? One part is getting clients, right? Another part would be maybe registering your business. Another part may be creating a digital footprint. And so you're going to break those down to even smaller goals. I need to create a website. I need to post once a week. I need to get 1 new client per week, right? So breaking those down into very small goals so that you can actually achieve them, feel better, and be motivated to continue to do it. I'll tell you guys, for anybody here who wants to share their story or speak on a TEDx stage, the average number of applications to get accepted is 86. So you don't just wake up one day and you get accepted. That can feel overwhelming. It's like a year of prep work. But what can I do? This week I can apply to 2. Next week I can apply to 4. So you can use these tools for whatever your goals are. You want to get closer to your spouse. Maybe once a week we're going to have a date night. Maybe every Sunday we're going to sit and look at each other and just talk. You can do this with your kids too. So that is one of the most important parts, is breaking it down into small goals that you can actually go after. And number 4 ties into that. It's just taking action. Who just said being laser focused? There is the power of 1. When you focus on something, when you're clear on what you want, the universe will conspire to help make it happen. So every single day. Even if you're exhausted, I can spend 10 minutes and I can go after my goals. I can spend 5 minutes and create a post that's going to let people know who I am online so that they then trust me. They know who I am, and they know if we are aligned and if they want to purchase from me, because it's not some weird, icky sale. It's just, this is who I am. This is the solution I have for your problem. Either you want it or you don't. It's all good. You know, I'm not pushing myself on anybody. Me and my husband were going through a rough patch. We've now been together 10 years. Husband number 2. We were going through a rough patch a few years ago, and it was like, okay, what can I do? Every day we can talk for 10 minutes and just be open and be raw and be authentic. And those conversations took us to a new level. So yes, you need to be clear. Yes, you need to break down your goals, but none of that is going to work if you don't take action. I spoke at a seminar last week, faith-based leaders, pastors, church folks, and I said, I'm not trying to hurt no feelings, but guess what? Faith without works is dead. Do not allow your faith, or do not use your faith as an excuse to be lazy. Do not sit back and say the universe is going to drop this in my lap. Do not sit back and just say, well, God's going to work it out. He is not if you don't get up and take action to move towards your goals in an effective manner. So we don't have time to go all the way into all the stuff I want to share with you. So my free giveaway, it's called The Art of Manifestation. Everybody should have access to it. And it breaks this down in, I think it's 3 or 4 small videos. I show you the vision board method that actually works. This is just a completely free offer. I'm not trying to sell you on anything, but it shows you how to implement this and use this for any goal that you want to achieve. As I wrap up in my last 30 seconds with you guys, what do you want to bounce back from? What do you want to create? Who do you want to be? And the biggest question is, what are you willing to do to get there? Because if you sit back and you think about it and you write about it in your journal and you complain to your friends and you fuss to your husband, but you don't create a plan and then follow your plan, nothing is going to change. But if you implement these very simple steps, I promise you in 6 months and a year, your life will look very different than it does today. Thank you for taking some time with me, you guys, and I can't wait to hear the rest of the speakers.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I see the claps. I see the cheers. Natasha, thank you so much for your wisdom. I mean, it was just, I'm like tapping away. So by the way, for those who are listening in and are like, oh my gosh, I need to, like, what's happening? I am typing tidbits and gems, dropping them in the chat. I mean, so well said. And I really do hope you're asking yourself those questions, and we'll have some time to reflect. What do you want to bounce back from? What do you want to create? Who do you want to be? And what do you want to do to get there? What will you do? And with that being said, thank you, Natasha, for your wisdom, your story, your truth, your insight. You are truly the embodiment of what it means to bounce back. And without further ado, I got to keep it rolling because there is more gems to be had. There is so much more to be said. It doesn't end here, as we have the wonderful Anitha Jones joining us in the world to share her story. Anitha Jones, she's an EDS, and she is the president of and CEO of NEAT Consulting, Networking, Educational Advocacy and Training. And it promotes the educational advocacy for students. She's also a certified Georgia real estate agent, a fellow agent here, girl. Yes, love it. Educator, speaker, facilitator, and she's the author From Poverty to Principle. Her book was inspired by the obstacles she faced as a child in her life events, and that propelled her to promote educational advocacy for underserved students. She's had many lifetimes in amazing ways. I'm seeing that she was a retired middle and high school principal. During her tenure, she was named Teacher of the Year, District Middle School Assistant Principal of the Year, and the finalist for the Principal of the Year award. She has developed 2 mentoring programs that have provided more than 300 mentors to at-risk students. She holds a business education degree from Florida A&M. Yes, Florida A&M. And she's a master's and a specialist degree in educational leadership from Nova Southeastern University. And so I'm so excited for Anitha to talk about don't allowing where you're from to determine where you are going, baby. So with that being said, let's bring wonderful Anitha Jones to the stage.
Wow, Sabria, that introduction was amazing. Like, I need you with me all the time, not just for this conference, right, Dr. Sim? I have a question for you though, Sabria, before I begin. Why did you put me after Natasha? She was amazing. Natasha, that was beautiful. It was poignant. It was emotional. I mean, I received what you were saying, and I thank you. Thank you for sharing so much. So, good morning, good morning, good morning, ladies. I am so glad to be here with you today. But before I begin, I would like to just say something to Dr. Stem. Dr. Stem is a very inspirational woman. And I'm sure that you all will agree with me when I say that her smile is so beautiful and infectious. I love Dr. Stem. So thank you for having us here today, Dr. Stem, with this amazing and fabulous program. So as Sabria said, I am Anitha Jones, and the title of my presentation is Don't Allow Where You're From to Determine Where You're Going. I must tell you, ladies, that I have been eagerly anticipating this event. And ladies, I truly look forward to hearing your presentations as well. I want my time with you to be informative and interactive. So with that being said, let's go. I would like to begin with a quote, my very own quote, and it is, "What do I believe about women? I believe that we're all very different, but yet so similar. Some of us are wives, mothers, sisters, daughters. Some of us have weathered storms, and some of us have been cared for like queens. But one thing is for sure, we are all resilient women, and we have our own story to tell. So now, please allow me to share a bit about my story with you today. I hope that my story will encourage you or someone you know to accept that where you're from does not determine where you're going. So I've been told by many people that based on my outward appearance, that most are surprised to learn about my childhood struggles and how I overcame them. Of course, that's all behind me now, and I'm grateful that I've come a very long way. But please let me assure you that I know and I understand what it means to overcome obstacles. You may ask, how do I know? Well, to begin with, I was raised by a single mother, and we did not have very much. And I did not form a relationship with my father until I was in my late 20s. Since I was a child of poverty and our financial resources were extremely limited, at the tender age of 13, I petitioned for a worker's permit because I needed money to buy clothing and other basic essentials. Another big turning point in my life was when I was in the 9th grade. I was placed in a math class with a host of other Black and brown students because we received free or reduced lunch. So basically, we were placed there because we were poor. I knew, though, that curriculum was far beneath my educational potential. So I insisted, as a child, I insisted on being removed from that class. They removed me, and that was when I first became an advocate for myself. Yes, I was a young girl, but I could feel the shift. I felt accomplished. I felt empowered. I went on to graduate high school in good standings, and I applied to Florida A&M University, and I was accepted there. And it was there that I realized that I could and I would do better for myself, and I did. Because it was my opportunity to change my circumstances. Because as women, we are what? Ladies, we are resilient. So now, ladies, in just a few seconds, I'm going to ask you to unmute your mics and affirm the following statements with me, because remember, I want my presentation to be interactive. And that statement will be, I am beautiful, I am strong, I am resilient. So now, ladies, please unmute your mics And on the count of 3, let's say these things together. I'm waiting for you to unmute your mic.
Beautiful.
Wait, on the count of 3, on the count of 3. Dr. Stem, you're going ahead of me here. Okay, here we go, ladies. 1, 2, 3.
I am
beautiful.
I am strong. I am resilient.
Yes, yes, yes. I love it. Give yourselves a hug. I affirm, yes, I affirm that I love myself dearly. Don't you? I certainly hope that you all responded with a silent yes. Ladies, we must always love ourselves. Thank you for participating with that activity. Okay, I'd also like to share another story with you. I recently contributed to an anthology called Women of Courage with 24 other courageous women who also shared their poignant stories. And my chapter, I shared a bit about my childhood experiences and how my cousins would often tease and call me names. Almost daily, they would tell me that I looked like a giraffe because I was tall and thin, or they call me Miss Piggy because my nose was pudgy. And to make things worse, after my first grade teacher returned our school photos, I was so excited because I actually liked my photo. I was so happy that I shared it with my dear friend who happened to be a Caucasian boy, but he immediately said to me, Anitha, you look like a lion. Of course, at that time, I did not think it was funny. He was joking because we were friends. But as I got older, guys, I look back at that picture and I have to say to his credit, I may have some similarities of a lion cub because I had a bushy, sandy colored afro and my front teeth were all missing. But as a youngster, his comments hurt. I was getting it from all angles, from my cousins, from my friend, my classmate. And if I told you that those negative comments did not bother me, that would not be the truth. Hearing those comments coupled with my low socioeconomic background, it was a bit difficult. However, I stayed strong. I stayed strong because I was, and I still am, a praying person. My grandmother instilled that in me, the power of prayer. And because of the faith that I have, and because I held onto God's unchanging hand, I overcame my childhood circumstances. And now I have a wonderful husband and 2 beautiful children. I know unequivocally that I am a blessed woman. Yes, I have scars from my past. And there were times I would ask, why me? And I have grown to embrace those scars from my past because they helped me to become the woman I am today. A woman who has gone from poverty to principle and beyond. I love who I am. And to add icing to the cake, after being a little girl who had very little and who was routinely receiving a barrage of unpleasant teasing, I went on to become a finalist in the Mrs. Florida pageant. And the proverbial ugly duckling became a beautiful swan who feels so blessed. I am referring to how I feel on the inside and the outside. So ladies, I wear my crown. Thank you so much. I wear my crown. I receive my crown. I thank God for my crown. I wear it proudly. And I encourage each of you to wear your crowns proudly. Dr. Stem, you're gonna make me cry. I encourage each of you to wear your crowns proudly, whether it's tangible as mine is, or invisible. Wear your crowns, lady, and wear it proudly. You've earned it, just as I have.
Yes.
Okay, now to lighten it up a little bit more. Before my session ends, ladies, I would like to do 2 interactive activities with you. And here's the first. I'm going to keep my crown on. Here's the first one. Okay, you ready? When I ask you where you're from and where you're going, I'd like for you to take a moment to think about it, or a few seconds, literally and metaphorically, and then respond in the chat. I'll let you know when to start. But first, here's my own personal example of where I'm from and where I'm going. From struggles and uncertainties to stability and happiness. Or you might say from good to great, whatever suits your situation. Now, please take about 10 seconds and briefly write in the chat what describes where you're from and where you're going. Okay, I would like to read a few of, did you guys write in the chat? I don't see. Okay, here we go. Okay. From uncertainty to confidence, from brokenness to being blessed to others, overwhelmed to overcoming, and from a place of fear and self-doubt to a place of greatness and fearless and success, going from restricted to freedom. Oh my goodness, ladies, these are beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. From doubt to confident. These are wonderful, wonderful. I'm trying to see. From victim to victor. Wow. From certain to confident and clear. I hope I didn't miss any. They are wonderful, ladies. Just checking again. Thank you, ladies, so much. That was wonderful. That was beautiful. And if I miss any of your comments in the chat, thank you for sharing. I will go back and read them later. I appreciate your participation, but I have another activity. Remember, interactive. I was a school teacher, y'all. So you have to just kind of go with me. Okay, my second and my last activity. Okay, now I ask you to take a moment to think about one word that makes you feel happy and encouraged. Please allow me to go first again. My word is faith. And I love the Bible verse that says, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Okay, at this time, I ask each of you to take a few seconds and type one word in the chat that makes you feel happy and encouraged. Okay, my assistant didn't play my Jeopardy music, but I'll go ding, 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 ding. He messed up there. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, so let me start reading the words from the chat. Wow, here we go again with some wonderful, wonderful words. Believe, how powerful, beautiful. Grace, freedom, joy, faith, fearless, joyful. Ladies, these are beautiful. Whole and peace. These are so wonderful, ladies. Thank you so very much for sharing those wonderful words. Ladies, thank you for sharing and thank you for your time. And don't ever forget where you're from, but focus more on where you're going. And remember, we are women of courage. Stay beautiful, stay strong, and stay resilient. Thank you, ladies.
Oh my gosh, Dr. Anitha, I am just like so overwhelmed with joy and excitement from your presentation. Thank you so much. Ladies, if you remember anything, if you don't get that crown on, I'm gonna need you to go and get it right now and get it on, because that is what we are. We are queens. We are beautiful, beautiful, resilient women, and we are strong, and we are navigating this thing called life with so much grace, even when it feels like it's a whirlwind and a mess. Thank you so much, Dr. Anitha, for your wonderful, wonderful stories, your fun games. We love, my parents are both school teachers, so it's all good. All good in the neighborhood. And we really enjoyed you so very much. So ladies, we are rolling on today. It's going. Time is flying. So here's what's going to happen, just to give you all a little outline of what's going on here. So we have another wonderful speaker coming up in a few minutes. And then after that, we'll have a mini break. And so what we like to do is, we know that we're on Zoom. We know that you're having to stay engaged, and we need Zoom breaks. So you will get an opportunity to take a break from the Zoom and to step away, move a little bit, just stretch out and everything. And so just hang tight for the next 15 minutes or so, and then we'll have a break, and then we'll continue on with a wonderful day ahead. And so now I want to present the wonderful Nadia Rodriguez Bueno from the Bahamas, as she brings the topic of bouncing back from brokenness. And so let me give you a little bit about this just amazing woman, along with a list of all these amazing women today. Nadia is an educational psychologist and certified life and vegan health coach. She's the creator of Shift, a faith-based personal and soul development coaching service. Women of Value, a female empowerment service, Making It Work God's Way, a YouTube podcast she produces with her husband. And she also is the radio host for Simply Healthy on Word SBC 88.3 FM in the Bahamas. Just talking it all up across the airwaves, letting people know about what we need to thrive. When Nadia is not singing, I love it, because I can't sing, girl, so she can sing for me. Love it. She's speaking or coaching or counseling. She loves spending time with her family. Her best accomplishment in life is being a wife, and it is to the incomparable Mr. Osvaldo Rodriguez Bueno. Ooh, beautiful. Love the love. Love is beautiful. Nadia is humbled to be in partnership with the Lord by using her special gift to make a global and eternal impact. Ooh, just so much light and spark. Oh, Nadia, we are so excited to welcome you to the stage and for you to share what it means to bounce back from brokenness. Turning it to you, Nadia.
Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon. Hello. Hello. Nice to see those hands. I mean, I'm already full, okay? The first two speakers already have been fire. So we're going to keep the trend, okay? We're not going to break it. So I'm bouncing back from brokenness. And I just want to say thank you again. I feel so blessed to be in this room this morning today. So let's get right to it, because we don't want to lose a minute. Bouncing back from brokenness. Give me a thumbs up, please, if you can see my screen clearly. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Okay, so let me start this slideshow.
Okay.
Great. So in order to bounce back from brokenness, you had to have been broken. And we've already heard some powerful stories and seen the proof that, like Natasha, you can bounce back from what was broken in your life. Like Miss Anita, you don't have to let your past define who you are today. So we know that it's possible to bounce back from our brokenness. So here's a question. Like Miss Anita, I'm an educator, so I love interaction. So put your messages in the chat for me. Here's the question. What has to be broken before it can be used? What is something that has to be broken before it can be used? And Sabri, if you can help me out with some of the answers that may be going in the chat. I see the chat going up. So help me out with some of the answers that are going in the chat.
I'm seeing nuts and eggs. Oh, those are good ones.
Nuts. I didn't even think about nuts. That's right. Nuts. Excellent. Excellent. Nuts, eggs, very good. Those are just some of the things that has to be broken so that you can get the juice and the fruit and enjoy the goodness on the inside. And sometimes in our lives, it is the same way. We have to be broken. May I submit to you that before we can experience greatness, going from loss and heartbreak, going from poverty, going from everything that we've heard thus far to something special and amazing and impactful, we have to sometimes be broken. So I have my egg here, and in order to be broken, in order to get that egg, that shell has to be broken. What about a plant? Here's a seed. And in order for a new plant to come, here in the Bahamas, I love mangoes. Mangoes come around in the summer. And in order for that mango tree to grow, to get that juicy mango that drips down your hand, in order for that to happen, the seed has to literally die and break, crack, before that new plant can be produced. And here we have it. And even when that new plant is produced, the soil has to be broken so that that plant can come up from underground. So brokenness, we always often look at it as something that is difficult, something that is shameful, something that we don't really want. But can I submit to you this morning, this afternoon, wherever you are tonight, that brokenness is the step to your breakthrough. That brokenness is something that makes us even more beautiful. Here we go. In order to get the rain, we need broken clouds. They need to pour out. So this is a Japanese, ancient Japanese, what do I call it? An ancient Japanese art form. It's called kintsugi. And I don't know how many of you know about kintsugi, but what it is that if you have something that has been broken and you really like it, you don't want to throw it away, you take it to a master joinery, and he now takes gold glitter, gold or silver dust, and what he does is fill the cracks of that broken vessel. And so what happens then? The vessel that was just a plain old vessel now becomes something more valuable than when it first had its original form. And that is what I want to say to you today, that your brokenness, because of it, you become more beautiful. Because of the brokenness that Natasha suffered, Anita suffered, they can feed into our lives today. So your brokenness has its purpose and its place. And sometimes we want to run away from it. I can tell you, Jude, I don't want to be broken sometimes. When I think about some of the things that I've gone through in my life, I'm like, what? I do not want to be broken, but I would not know that I am a woman of value if I did not have that experience. And so it is when God takes us who are broken, when we are broken, God steps in and he's the great restorer, just like the joiner, right? The joiner. He's the restorer and he renews us and he transforms us into vessels of honor, more beautiful than we ever thought that we could be. So I have a story for you here. And I want to start, like Ms. Anita, with a quote of my own that I strongly believe, and I live by this, that brokenness creates an opportunity for healing. And if I ask you to put your hands up, use your emojis, who don't want some healing? I want some healing. I'll be the first to raise my hand. Yes, I want some healing. So brokenness sometimes is the catalyst that opens up the doors for our healing. And the truth of the matter is sometimes you can't experience healing if you don't go through these brokenness. So I want you to meet Phyllis. Look at that beautiful woman. Phyllis at 17 found herself pregnant, still in high school. So many people discouraged her. Oh, get rid of the baby, you're just starting your life, etc. Phyllis not only had this pressure on her to get rid of this baby, but she wanted to graduate high school. All of her dreams she saw just blowing away, right? She graduated high school, but she had to go and find a job immediately. The dream to go to college was finished. The dream to pursue her dreams was delayed. And this didn't only happen to Phyllis once. She had another child 5 years later, and then a third child 5 years later. So of course she had all these labels placed on her. She was literally broken. But I want to submit to you all today that your brokenness does not devalue you. And I think we've heard this already, Your brokenness doesn't set the standard of the value of who you are. I am a woman of value. And that's what I want all of us to say right after Miss Anita. She said it. We are on point, Miss Anita, because I wanted everyone to say, I am a woman of value. I am a woman of worth. And these are some of the affirmations that I have to speak over my own life before I step out into that harsh, cruel world. Because the world has everything they want to say to you and about you, but they don't even know you. God knows you. He created you, and He created you more precious than rubies, with more worth than rubies. So one day when I read that scripture in the Bible, you were created more precious than rubies, I had to go and find out how much a ruby costs, the worth of a ruby. And so I said, Lord, you said I'm worth more than one ruby? You said rubies, but one ruby costs a lot. So how much rubies I'm worth, Lord? Tell me. So I want you to know today that you are a woman of value, and your brokenness, no matter what you've suffered, maybe you've suffered brokenness in a relationship. Maybe you suffered brokenness because you had a story like Phyllis. Maybe you suffered brokenness because your dreams have been shattered, but that does not devalue who you are and the contribution that you have to make. You have a Father of favor who just wants to pour His favor onto you. Like Natasha said, He just wants you to step out on faith and watch how things and doors are going to open up, which no man or no woman can shut for you. The broken spirit is what God works with. He is happy to work with your broken spirit, because guess what? Really and truthfully, when we think we're all that, sometimes we're not approachable. Sometimes we're not humble. Sometimes we don't see what we are really born to do because we are all into the fluff. But when all of that is removed and in our nakedness and brokenness, God is able to work with us and mold us and create something more beautiful than when we first went into the Kintsugi artists. He is able to create something powerful from that broken story. And so we are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We are perplexed, yes, but not in despair. We are not forsaken and not cast out. And most of all, we are not destroyed. Your brokenness is not a failure. I'm going to talk to you about Dr. Taz. Meet Dr. Taz. Dr. Taz is a writer, speaker out of Orlando. And Dr. Taz and her husband has gone through a tremendous story of loss. Dr. Taz went through so many losses of pregnancies. She was so ashamed, feeling like she didn't mean anything, feeling like she couldn't be a true wife to her husband, asking God, what's wrong with me? You created me to have a child. And so many of us go through that as women. We find brokenness because we are not able to birth children. But God is saying to you today, and I know someone out there needed to hear this message, that your brokenness does not make you a failure. Your brokenness does not make you a failure. Dr. Taz eventually able to go on to write a book, The Secrets of Faith in Fertility. And she has 3 beautiful children and a beautiful life. Your brokenness does not mean that you are a failure. She went through that so that today I can be here speaking into your life to say what God has promised to you, you will receive. What God has birthed in you will come to fruition. Whatever it is, you will have it because God has already claimed it for you over your life. So if you're sitting here today and you're wondering what's wrong with me, why can't I have children? I'm going to tell you today that God has birthed a beautiful story into you. God has birthed a beautiful book into you. God has birthed a beautiful marriage for you. God has birthed a beautiful job for you. God has birthed a beautiful existence for your life. But you have to know that your brokenness does not mean that you are a failure. He promises that He will turn your joy, your mourning, into joy. Isn't that beautiful? That weeping comes, you have days that you doubt, like Natasha said, you give yourself your 3 days, but that mourning, that distress, that will become joy if you walk in the work, in the life that God has promised for you. If you walk believing that brokenness is not the end of you. The Lord visited Sarah. Everyone knows the story about Sarah and Abraham in the Bible. And guess what? I love the Bible. Okay. It's full of stories that I can look at today like, what? What was that? So we know if for some of us that may not know, Sarah couldn't have a baby. She had a baby late in life. And sweetie, when I say late, she was past menopause. Okay. She had no hope for her own self. And the Lord visited her. Look at that. He visited her and he gave Sarah what he had promised. Sometimes we're living in our brokenness and we feel like there's no hope. I've already gone through this. I've already done it. I've already given it my all. We think that there's no hope. Today, I'm here to remind you that you will get a visitation, and even if it's a divine visitation, so that your life can be what God has designed it to be, then you will go through that brokenness. Your brokenness will create your breakthrough. Your brokenness will create your healing. Because I want to submit to you that being broken is not what you think that it is. Being broken can be something beautiful. Your brokenness does not mean that you are a failure. Your sorrow, your struggle, your distress, your perplexities, they are all going to shift and change into joy. So now, there's beauty in brokenness. What kind of beauty is there in brokenness? Who wants to have a broken heart? Nobody. There is beauty in brokenness. Natasha, I have to keep going back. Her story was amazing. Natasha said she started with one husband and now she has another husband in a beautiful marriage. Miss Anita said she started with persons putting a value on her potential. And she had to speak up and say, that is not what I am worth. I know I am capable of more. There is beauty in your brokenness. And I love this quote. Don't broken crayons still color? Yes. Even when the crayons are broken and you think it's useless, it still has a purpose. And so does each and every one of us. Look at this quote. Brokenness opens door for renewing, creating something more beautiful than what was before. I will give you a new heart and I will put a new spirit in you, because when you're broken, you cling on to that negativity, you cling on to the sadness, you cling on to the regret, you cling on to the anger, you cling on to bitterness. But in order for your brokenness to have beauty, you need to let it go so that you can have a new heart, a new set of perspective, a new mindset, a new vision for your life, so that you can experience the beauty in brokenness. I love this Bible text. It says, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and he saved those who are crushed in spirit. Because sometimes our spirit is so crushed by this mean world, and even the persons who are the closest to us, our family. In Miss Jones' case, it was her family calling her mean things, saying mean things to her. And then she went to a friend who she thought she would get some affirmation from, and she didn't find it there. The Lord is the one who sticks the closest to those who are in a broken heart. I remember my first broken heart child. It was broken into many pieces. And it was only when I dug deep and went into what my spiritual practice was, which is praying, to say that my brokenness was not the end of me. Here's Phyllis with her 3 beautiful daughters. The youngest there in the middle is a project manager, certified project manager, on her way to be. Her second daughter with the braids, the gold braids, Nicole. Nicole works in the financial industry, very successful. And her third daughter is me, Nadia, the one on the end, speaking to you about brokenness. I was the bastard child that was supposed to be aborted. And here I am speaking to you ladies today, proof, living proof that brokenness does not devalue the plan that God has established for you. Brokenness does not mean that you are a failure. I'm supposed to be a failure. I'm from a single parent home. I came from with nothing, similar stories. My father was not in my life. Brokenness. I'm not supposed to have this life that I have. They said the same thing about Jesus. What good can come out of Nazareth? What good can come out of a single parent home with no money, no resources, no connections? Your brokenness is your roadmap to being a blessing to others. Because today I use this story to do that. So, to end, I have a question for you. How long will you remain broken? I started off this by saying a quote that I love. Brokenness, it is a catalyst for healing. It creates an opportunity for healing. So how long are you going to be broken? You may not have been responsible for your brokenness. I wasn't. You may not have been responsible for what happened to you. You may not have been responsible for what you're going through right now, the suffering, the brokenness that you're experiencing right now, but you are responsible for your repair. You are responsible for how you're going to get out, how you're going to get through. So how long are you going to remain broken? And my final slide. The good news is that there is healing for anyone who's broken. He heals the brokenhearted and he binds up their wounds. Today is your opportunity to decide that this is the end of your 3 days of weeping and pity. You're going to get up and break through the brokenness. Thank you very much.
Oh my. Thank you so much, Nadia, for such beauty and such grace in what you shared. And the question still rings in many of our hearts. What will we do to deal and face our brokenness? Because it is our responsibility to change our narrative, and you can do that today. You don't have to wait another minute, another second in this life. So thank you so much. And I'm excited to get our next lineup of speakers on the roll, as our next presentation with Sweta Samota is Turn Your Mess into a Message. And so I hope I said it right, Sweta Samota. Is it good? Yes. Oh, I killed it, because I wanted to make sure. I think that all of you have beautiful crowns of names, and I want to make sure I'm honoring that. So thank you. And I want to share a little bit about her and her journey. So when it comes to Sweta, she is a software engineer turned Amazon best-selling author, story expert, motivational speaker, marathoner. Okay, running. I can't do it, but kudos to you. And change maker. She's an Indian author who writes romance, mystery, thriller, and nonfiction books with equal ease, and takes book writing, publishing, marketing workshops to help individuals become published authors. So she presents those and helps people get that part in their journey, get there. The Kiss of True Love was her debut novella. That sounds like an amazing read, The Kiss of True Love. And her short story, Radha in a Jinx, was among the top 3 most popular stories on Amazon Wordsworthy. 9 is also one of her blockbuster thriller romances. She's the winner of the Story Award by the She the People TV and a Flash Fiction in 2018. And she was awarded the Woman Entrepreneur of the Year 2020 award by Nirgia Brands, and conferred the Best Book Coach, Author, and Speaker by Global Fame Awards in 2022. She is changing the world as we speak, and I'm just so excited, Sweta, for you to share your presentation on turning your mess. Now, we talked about brokenness, so that's all part of it, your mess into a message. So with that, I turn it to you, beautiful.
Thank you so much, Sabria. Thank you, Dr. Stem. Can you all see me and hear me clearly? Yes. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
How many of you have a lot of mess in your life? A lot of mess? How many of you want to have power in your life? Feel powerful and confident? Hi, I am Sweta Samota. Today, I'm going to share how to turn your mess into a message. How many of you are excited to reclaim your power through your mess? What if I tell you your power lies in your mess? How many of you would like that? Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share a few minutes with you. So let me be honest here. The next few minutes could get a little uncomfortable for you. Are you ready to be vulnerable? Are you ready to open up, to become powerful? Are you ready to shed those unwanted layers? Are you ready to unleash your real, powerful you? Are you ready? Yes. The first step is the hardest. I'll tell you about a very difficult conversation I had recently with someone. I cannot disclose her name, but she is going through a really tough time, a dark phase, and she knows that she is suffering. I think she also knows the reason. I spent like an hour, she telling about her problems, and at the end of the conversation, I asked, do you think, these people are a problem to you? And she flips. After spending an hour cribbing about her problem, and when I ask her that, is that an issue? She says no. So she's taking medications for depression and she's not ready to call a spade a spade. She's like, I am happy. Okay. So you cannot progress if you're not ready to acknowledge and accept your own situation. Let us do a simple exercise. Keep a notepad and a pen ready. And if you are watching this recording, you can pause as we progress through this simple exercise attempted, and then you can play. Okay, ready? So I'm going to take you on a journey that is going to help you figure out the message in your mess. All I ask is to be honest and open about it. Can you do that? Yeah. Yes, thank you. So you don't have to share it with others if you don't want to. So you feel free to use the chat box. So let's begin. So go back to your childhood. How was it? Was it fun or was it difficult? Okay. Did you see yourself facing a problem? We all have faced problems in our childhood. So for example, I was born in a traditional Orthodox Indian family where even education is a privilege for females. Like I've seen my mother being taunted by others for having a female child and not boy. Okay, so I've seen days like when I was on periods, I was called an untouchable. In a family of 50 people, I was not supposed to touch anything and be at just one place for next 3 days. So I hated that. I hated being born as a female in my childhood days. And here I am taking this session for all of you. So have you faced problems in your childhood? Did you face it head on or did you run away from it? Did you run away? Did you hate the situation, the environment, the traditions? I hated it, but I faced it. So since education was a privilege only for boys, I ensured that I got 100% in everything that I attempted. So I give 200%. And today when I connect the dots, it's because I was not allowed the privilege. I was not allowed to study that. I scored 100% in physics, chemistry, and mathematics in 12th grade. So note it down. Were you ever felt less because you are a woman or born as a female? Were you ever felt less because of some other nature, physical nature, or your characteristic? Were you ever felt less because of any other thing that you own? Note it down. Did you face any hardships in your childhood, or was it a privileged childhood? Note it down. Note down your relationship then with your family and friends. Did you have a problem socializing with people? I did, because I was not allowed to. I was not allowed to talk to boys. What did people call you? Did you have a problem with that? I was called a bookworm in school, where, by the way, I didn't have the privilege of making many friends. So all I saw was books, and books are my first and friend for years. And that time when they called me bookworm, I felt really bad about it. But today, my entire existence is all about books. After having written 12 plus books and having helped 4,000 plus people with their books, I believe that I am a kick-ass bookworm. So what is your relationship with your family and friends? When they call you something, do you feel bad about it? Note it down. Go back to your school, your college. You faced problems. Did you run away from your problems, or you faced head on? Note down the problems. What was that? Okay. Go back to your relationship with your parents. How was it? Did you like something about it? Did you not like something about it? Did you hate it when they scolded you? And for what did you get the most scolding? Note it down. Okay. So go back to your first job now. Did you ever work? If yes, then how was it like? Did you like it? What you did not like about your job? Note it down. For me, my first job was a miracle, you can say, meaning I was the first female from an Orthodox family to actually go out and work. So for me, it was a huge milestone. Education had actually opened the doors to freedom, because every female, like I grew up seeing females of the house only confined to the kitchen. And I didn't see myself there. And that is why I studied like hell. And that is why that first job is really special to me. So go back to your happy, memorable incidents. Note down why they are memorable to you. And now the difficult part. Go back to the worst incidents of your life. Note down what had happened, what went wrong. How did you feel? What went wrong? Breathe. So for me, even if I had the best job, I worked with the best of the world, best companies of the world, the MNCs, you can check my LinkedIn profile. After I settled in, suddenly it became all boring to me. Ever happened with you that suddenly things that you really desired, dreamt, when you got it, it became boring to you, okay? And you wanted more from life. And then you took a risk. I did that. I quit my high-paying job and I did a startup. 2 years, spent all my savings, invested in it. And after 2 years, I realized, the customers don't really appreciate what we have created. And it was a failure. And I learned from all those failures. Suddenly, that upbringing, the environment exploded into agoraphobia with me. So I suffered from agoraphobia. And I realized that I learned a lot from that about myself, that I didn't like conforming to the society. And so far, I was just conforming to the society. So note down your worst incidents, why you suffered, why you had to go through them, what happened, what went wrong. Now look at yourself today. As we attend this Bounce Back conference today, every problem of your life has made you what you are today. Every struggle you face is making you. So what you do become depends on what you make out of your problems. If you face them, you handle them well, you grow, you prosper. But if you deny them, you stay where you are. And as Earl Nightingale says, is that who you are, where you are, is really where you want to be. So make that note. Where do you want to be and where you are right now? So to grow, first step, hardest step, acknowledge your problems. Where you are right now, it's all because of your problems, and where you want to be, your problems are going to take you there. So if problems are coming to you, accept them. The magic happens when you accept those problems. Now, do you want to make like this acceptance easy? Do you want some affirmations for that? Do you want that? So that you can read it every day. I read it every day. Yeah. So do you want that? Type in the chat box, say yes or nod your head so that I can give it to you. Here it goes. Okay. I am fearless. I have no fear of the problems that are coming to me. Problems are good. Struggles are good. They are necessary to write my best-selling story. And these problems make me grow, make me who I am. They write a story I am proud of. Do you know that problems come into your life for a reason? That they are here to make you stronger. They are here to teach you something. Go back to your past. Whatever questions I asked you to work on, ponder, introspect. Can you find a thread in all those problems that you are facing every year, every month, every day? That problem is coming. What is the thread that is common across all these problems? Okay, let's switch some gears now. How many of you see that the same problems are repeating in your life? Have you seen that? Oh, you think that I fixed it, but why is it appearing again after a few years? Have you seen that some people you hate keep coming back to your life? Have you seen that? Have you noticed? And you don't want them, and they still come, they still are in front of you. Every few months, they're still there in front of you. You want to get rid of them, of your life, but they're still there. Why? Are they there for a reason? Okay. So the moment you acknowledge the mess, that yes, that's a problem. I acknowledge it. I have a problem with the people, with that person, with that struggle, with that emotion, with that thing, with that time, with that moment, with that place. You shift. Your focus shifts. Before this acceptance, you only focus on why me, or why is it so bad? I am so bad, or why it has to be only me. Suddenly after acceptance, it's no more that. Because now you know it is a problem, a situation, a person, a thing, a time, an emotion. You know now that that is a problem for you. So when you recognize the problem, what do you do? When you recognize a problem, what do you do? Where there's a problem, there is a... Yes, that's right. So now your focus is on the solution. Okay. So do you see a relation to everything that is happening to you since childhood? For me, I can connect the dots that because I was born in Orthodox or traditional family, because I was denied things, I wanted them. Because I was denied recognition, because females were like not identified, like they are no one in the family. I wanted to be someone in the family. I really worked hard for it. I was excelling in everything that I did. I didn't want to see myself in the place of the females of the house. So I see that connection, that I didn't want all of those things. And that is why I just climbed up the ladder. And today, where I am today is really where I want to be. So can you see that for yourself? That has made you today who you are. You stand here because of your problems, because of your mess. Look at your problem. Ask yourself, how do I fix it? Now, if the problems are still repeating, okay, then you have to ask yourself, how do I fix it now? Okay, after acknowledgement, ask yourself, how do I fix it? And is there something that I have to fix in myself? And that is why things are repeating with me. So one thing is, how do I fix the problem? Second thing is, how do I fix myself? Okay, so what do I need to do so that this doesn't happen with me again? Because things are going to repeat it again and again until you learn the lesson that you're supposed to do, supposed to learn. So you can get out of this circle only after you learn the lesson. Then only when you get the message, you out of the mess. Okay. So what can I learn about the mess and about myself? Acknowledge it, learn it. Okay. And of course, it's going to be a learning. You'll have to control yourself. You'll have to grow in order to come out of that mess. So before I conclude, I want to give you something extraordinary. Every time I'm in a mess, I tell these words to myself. Okay. These words will help you too to sail through your mess in life. Do you want that? Yeah, these words. Yeah. So here they are. I am more than this mess. Through this mess, something big is coming to me. I am destined to my message through this mess. From being helpless to now being confident and powerful. You have to uncover this journey through this mess. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. And I hope that you're inspired to find the message through your mess by going through all those questions. Thank you.
Sweta, thank you so much for such a challenging session. And the thing is, you didn't mince words. You were real with us and you were honest with us. We have to face the demons. We have to face these things in our life because they are what build us. They are what make us. Your mess is your message. It's all in perception. And thank you so much for reminding us of that and letting us know what we have to do to get through this process and for sharing your story. I've been to India and I think about the things that I saw and my experiences there. And it was hard to just see that experience of the colorism in the community and the separation. And so just to know that you went through this and that you navigated to become the amazing woman that you are, it's an honor to know and share space with you. So thank you. And I see people are showing so much love in the chat and whatnot. And it's just amazing. And there is so much more to come. And so with that being said, Dr. Sitsi Mercy, I am just so excited, also known as DTM. We are so excited to have you. I know that you were navigating everything, but I think that you are, yes, you're back and it looks like you are able to get in and you're good to go. Wonderful, wonderful. Let's see if I can find you. Perfect. I am so happy and excited to invite you to the stage and for you to share your story, your wisdom, and your experiences with us all. So DTM, she is a transformational humanitarian advocating for women's well-being through faith-based community programs. She's a promoter of the welfare of marginalized women, ensuring equitable access to information and entitlements for foreign women in the diaspora. And she is the CEO and president of Equip for Excellence Women's Ministry International, a conglomerate women's ministry birthed in 2009. This organization transcends denominational and cultural barriers in supporting, training, equipping, inspiring, and empowering marginalized women and the girl child. DTM was appointed the governor at her local authority in Wales. Yes, because she's out there in the UK. I've been out there too many years ago. And she is ranked among UK's most inspiring and influential women through her active leadership roles in diverse communities and advocating for women's and girls' rights through empowerment programs and her involvement in global peace. She is an award-winning recipient of the Wise Women Awards. She's a finalist in the Women for Africa as Humanitarian, and she was conferred an honorary PhD and degree in humanity by the University Global Peace and United Nations Global Compact. And there is so much more to share on this wonderful, wonderful lady, but I'm going to go ahead and let her share her part of the story of the power of strategic planning, as we cannot bounce back if we don't have a plan. And so thank you so much. I am so excited to turn over to you, wonderful lady.
Thank you so much, Sabrina. It has been an honor and a privilege, my goodness, just to listen to every speaker who has been, my God, you girls are amazing. Like, I was sitting there like, Lord help me, do I have anything else to say? But God is good. So I bring you greetings from the United Kingdom. I'm excited to have you girls. Do you know what? Some of you, I had to listen really carefully because, Americans, you've got this accent in your, and I just like, ooh, wow, I love it. I really do. Let's get to work. Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Stem. You are an amazing woman, and my goodness, God is taking you from one level of glory to another level of glory. So thank you. Sabrina, if you can help me with sharing my screen, that would be great. What I want to do, ladies, is to just get you through into this, through my presentation and make it very real. I don't know, men, if you've ever heard this saying that sometimes as Christian women, we know how to speak in tongues. We are Holy Ghost filled, tongue talking, Bible carrying, devil bashing, but my God, we don't have a strategy. We have no plan. We're waiting on God to say, God, when is this going to happen? And God is like, girl, I'm waiting on you. Get on with the job. So today, all right, I was going to say tonight because it's about 5:45 here in the UK. But today, let's talk about the power of strategic planning. Do you want to move to the next slide? Thank you, Sabrina. Thank you. So preparation is the difference between winning and losing. And the reason why I wanted to talk about strategic planning is that 2023 is going to demand us to put some things, our ducks in a row. 2023 is going to demand us to have a strategy, to plan properly. If we want to be the head and not the tail, if we want to take positions in corridors of influence, if we want to be women whose presence will demand an explanation, we must have a plan. So preparation is the difference between winning and losing. What happens when you don't prepare? I mean, it's simple. We fail. When we don't have a plan and we don't prepare properly, we fail. So I want you to take a minute to think about and just be really honest and maybe put
going outside. Can you have Dad put this up? Thanks.
Sorry.
No worries. Let me do some mute, and somebody probably doesn't realize they're not on mute. Okay. You're all good. Go ahead.
Okay, brilliant. So if you can just be really honest with yourself and say, hey, look, the times where I have not really planned properly, this is the mess I got into. If you're okay with sharing some personal details, or maybe it's something in your career, or it could be anything. It could be ministry, it could be in friendship, it could be anything, when you just didn't prepare properly. And being unprepared puts you kind of like out of position. Like we have been told, the Bible tells us that we are the head and not the tail. Ladies, if you're on this platform and you're at the sound of my voice, you are the head and not the tail. Okay. And so sometimes when we fail to prepare, we position ourselves as being the tail. So preparation positions us for a correct impact in the world. Sabrina, shall we move on to the next slide? Thank you. Right. So what is strategy? If you don't know where you are going, any road will get you there. I love that quote by Lewis Carroll. And it's true, if you don't have a strategy, if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know where you're going, listen, you would turn any other way and it's fine, because you don't have a router. So what is a strategy? A strategy is establishing priorities. What are your priorities on this bounce back session, on this bounce back conference, and during this time where you are kind of like now winding down your 2022 and going into 2023? What is your strategy? Establishing priorities, choosing actions. I love that one, choosing action. We have a choice of the actions that we take. We have to be responsible for the actions that we take. If we don't choose carefully and choose wisely, we end up acting the fool and acting out of character and acting as really what the tail does instead of being the head. Creating a plan, allocating resources, which is a big one for Christians. I think sometimes as Christians we can be so careless in that area, and as long as I've tithed and I've given an offering, anything else that I do with my money is my business, no one else's. No, allocating your resources in an intelligent and wise way and being proactive. Sabria, thank you. Shall we move on to the next slide? Thank you. So what is a strategic plan? We looked at what's a strategy, but now let's look at what the plan is. That's a document that says why you or your organization exists. Now, many of us here may know about this because I think I'm talking to women who are very organized, maybe CEOs, maybe ministers in the gospel, women who are leading in one way or the other, women who are significant in their bloodline. But you need a document, ladies. You need a document that says why you are where you exist, mainly because somebody will want to run with that vision and on another time at another stage in life. So what you aim to do and how you would do it, your why, your what, and your how will help you to focus on your vision and your priorities. The Bible says unless we put the vision down, we have to write the vision down. So they that come after us know how to articulate this vision, they know how to run with it. They won't die with the amount of time and energy you've put into making this work, whatever it may be. It could be an assignment, it could be a ministry, it could be a business, it could be a family, whatever it is, put it down. Make sure you've got a document. A document means a reference point. Shall we move on to the next slide? So a reference point means that you are able to look at something. You've got something to look back on to say, okay, at such a time, I made note of this, I made note of this. And it helps you also to be able to maybe judge how far you're going and how much time you've got left. Strategic planning does not predict the future. You have to put in the work. You have to put in the work. It's not it's not like a magic wand. Strategic planning does not predict the future for you. You've got to put in the time. You've got to put in the work. Strategic planning does not replace good leadership and judgment. These are things that you have to work at. And that's something that we can talk about on a different day. Strategic planning does not mean it can't be tweaked. Now, let me just say something there. Sometimes we write a plan and in the middle of the year, the plan is not really working out the way we wanted it, it's okay, ladies, to tweak it. You can adapt and edit it as needed. Thank you, Sabria. As you need, as you see fit. So there are certain steps that you can take in order to make your planning, your strategic planning, something that you can look back on and make sure that your organization are also, working with you on this. So let's talk from writing it all down. So you've written it all down. There's the implementation stage. There's the monitoring and evaluation, which is something that I think we should be able to do without fear of being judged. I mean, hey, the good thing about a mind is you can change it, which is good. So if you change your mind on something because you have evaluated it, that's good leadership, and that is strategic planning. So you monitor and evaluate what's working and what's not working, and whatever is not working, I mean, let's change the way you're doing things. Insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results. So change it after evaluation, assess your organization, develop vision and mission, assess the environment. Now, I needed to talk a little bit about that because, at the moment, we are very big on the environment and what works in the environment and being kind to the environment. I think as Christians, we have a responsibility towards the environment. So let's look at that. Here in the UK, we are very big on recycling and making sure that any leftover food, we put it in the right place, and any kind of disposable stuff is put in the right. So everything is recycled. Now, where I live in Wales is if you put anything that is supposed to be recycled and may be a danger to the environment in the wrong place, you will be prosecuted for it. So it's assessing the environment. Now, the environment being where we are and what is around you, but also the environment in your bloodline. Like everybody has an environment. The environment in your bloodline, the environment in your friendship, the environment in your organization. Assess it and don't be afraid to monitor and evaluate, and then agree on priorities. You must have your priorities. And once you've got that, you've kind of like got a good system going, and that should take you further. Thanks, Abria. Should we go to the next slide? So I want to talk about keys to strategic planning. Focus on the most important issues. Now, this is really something that I used to struggle with a lot. Everything was important to me. Like everything was important. Getting my nails done was important. Going to get a haircut was important. Getting my car fixed was important. Purchasing a house was important. I just didn't know how to actually put things in a planned way that I would be able to look back and say, okay, tick, 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 I've done this. But focus only on the most important issues. Put those on the top of your list. Listen, you are not on a rat race. There is nobody that is chasing you. It is your plan, it is your vision, and it will move according to your pace. You see, the thing is, we are busy trying to compare with someone else, how they're doing stuff and how they have managed to do this. Listen, girl, the grass isn't green on the other side, okay? And if it is, someone is tending to that grass. So let's be okay with where we are. And that, okay, God, this is where I am. I'm willing to improve. I want to improve. I want to be better. I want to get to a better place. So please, it's okay to pace yourself. Be willing to question what you're including in your planning, because sometimes we include things that really, honestly, like, I mean, why am I putting my haircut in a planning? Like, girl, you just know every 2 weeks you need to go for a haircut. Just get on with it. There are things that are important that you are supposed to put in your planning. Produce a document. I alluded to this earlier. It's just a visual legal documentation for your planning. Thank you, Sabria. All right, so be bold enough to ask yourself and your team these questions. And some of these questions can be really uncomfortable, but that's okay. That's okay. What you need to do is teach your team to have those uncomfortable conversations, because that's important. So where do we want to go as an organization, as a team, as a family, as a ministry? Where do we want to go? What do we want to achieve? Really, I mean, if you don't write these things down and discuss and talk about it, a couple of weeks back, we had a strategic meeting where we were planning out our whole calendar for 2023. And we kind of like got to a place where we were not agreeing on why we are having this particular event. And I was like, what do we want to achieve from that event? I asked everybody. Everyone seems to know what we wanted to achieve. And then what do we want to be? When this is over, what do people want to remember, bounce back as? What was it? What were we doing? So what do we want to be? We had to face up to those questions, and that's important. And if you're like me and you're community driven in everything that you do, you want to know, what community do we dream of? What do I want to see the world be? Thank you, Sabria. What do I want to see the world become? What's my part in this community? Now, a community these days can actually be a community online. Like, you can have a virtual community. Ladies, don't beat yourself up just because you're not out there and posting pictures of, having a soup kitchen, or you are not out there handing out blankets to people who are homeless. That doesn't mean you don't have a strategy or plan. The world of virtual is right there in your face. You can create a charity that can really be significant, even while you are just doing it virtually. It's very possible. So your reason for being and for being, what is your reason for being? I was going to talk about mission and vision and everything, but I don't have enough time for that. I send you guys the slides later on. Communicate to the world what you do and why. Now, we send mixed messages all the time. Oh, so here we are, Dr. Mercy, what do you do? Who are you? In less than 60 seconds, someone should be so interested, so motivated to want to hear, what do you do? And in those 60 seconds, someone who can be so turned off, like literally look on the other side like, girl, my goodness. So communicate to the world what you do and why you do it, but make sure that you have planned it. Exercise it. I mean, do it as many times as possible. Pretend one day you are there right in the White House. And the question that comes to you is, Sheba Wilson, Nikki G, I'm not going to pronounce your surname, Nikki, because Nikki G, Sweta Simona, Sabria, what do you do? And why do you do it? You got 60 seconds, honey, to convince the White House that you are the woman for the job. 60 seconds, and try not to confuse your message. We confuse our messages sometimes with the way we look, the way we dress, the way we carry ourselves, like we are slotting about, and yet we are calling ourselves queens. We are looking like we are run down and I don't know, like some sorry story, and we want to sell people, we want to tell people we are CEOs, we are ministers of the word. Look at me, I can preach, I can. No, don't confuse your message by the way you talk. Don't confuse your message by the way you look. Dress how you want to be addressed. Balance the head and your heart. And try and make sure that you inspire someone. Thank you, Sabria. I'm trying to move as fast as possible because I've got 1 minute for every slide. Never underestimate the power of SWOT analysis. Now, we use SWOT analysis in many different areas in our lives. We use it in the commercial world. We use it in politics. We use it in church. We use it in all different organizations. Many of you know about the SWOT analysis, but SWOT analysis is simply looking at your strength, looking at your weaknesses, looking at your opportunities, and looking at your threats. So your strength, what do we do well? What do you do well? Listen, be real to yourself. I know what I do well, and I certainly know what I don't do well. And I'm not going to put myself in a position where I want to lead and grow in what I don't do well. No, but what I will do, however, is I will take that which I can't do and take it to my weaknesses. What could we do better? And what I then do is I get myself taught like this: mentorship there's coaching. We have no reason whatsoever, ladies, to not make use of these things. Okay, glory be to God. So I think I've got a few seconds left. I've just got my bell. Okay, let's move on to the next one, Sabria. Goals versus objectives. We all know about that. Greater purpose, long-term outcome. It may not be easy to measure, and your objective is specific short-term action that will contribute to achieving your goal. Girls, I know we can do this. Ladies, we've got it. It's in us. Let's go to the next one, Sabria, and I think we can start rounding it up. So I want us to think about the Sila moments of truth. These are the moments that, you know, when the penny drops. Spectacular achievement comes from unspectacular preparation. Like, put in the work in the background, okay? Don't avoid putting in the time to prepare. There are things that we have to do in order to be who we want to be. I think we can try and get to the end of that. Sabria, next one, and I think we are almost done. Smart objectives, let's move on. I think I alluded to that. Moving forward. So ladies, as I sort of wind down now, produce that document, write it down, write the vision down. Let not your vision die when you go to the grave. No, that is not your portion. Develop an action plan and implement. The grave must not, it must not, benefit from you. No. So produce that document so that someone else can run with it. Now, you're not doing it. The thing is, we are not great at succession. We are not. We want to hold on to it like it's mine for dear life. Girl, good leadership, strategic planning means you're planning for the future in case the unexpected happen. Share your progress. Don't be afraid. Share it. Be bold. Review and revise. The power of your strategic planning will help you to identify the best fit for your vision. Remember, I said, stop comparing yourself with Angela. Stop comparing yourself with Shaquita. Stop comparing yourself with someone else. You are enough. What God has ordained for you to achieve on this side of life, it will happen if you allow God to do what he does best. So make sure that your strategic planning is got a best fit for your vision, for your mission, your goals, and your objectives. Okay, Sabria, thank you. Bible verses for your business. There are so many of them. I just took a few that I could try and maybe, challenge you a bit. And maybe by the time you go, if I don't make you a little bit upset, or I don't kind of like come into your business, then I haven't done a good job. I love Proverbs 10 verse 4. It says, a slack hand causes poverty. Oh, I love that. But the hand of the diligent makes rich. Proverbs 19 verse 15 says, slothfulness casts into a deep sleep, and an idle person will suffer hunger. I mean, guys, I'm not like trying to be hard on you. This is the Bible, the Bible, and it's saying it as it is. In closing, please stop saying you are waiting on God. I beg you. We are so good on giving the responsibility to God when we already have the responsibility. It's too much. We are waiting on God. I'm waiting on God. I'm waiting to hear what God will say. Then I'll put my plan and strategy in place. No, girl, God is waiting on you. So please scrub up, get up, and fix your crown. The Bible says that he who has begun a good work in you will see it to completion until the very day that he returns. He's waiting on you. Thank you, Sabria. I think I'm gonna call it a wrap here. These are just a few things of my whatever, but yeah. So please, ladies, whatever it takes for you to get the job done, get it done. Get it done. He who has begun a good work in you will see it to completion until the very day that he returns. Thank you.
DTM, thank you so much, Dr. Mercy. So grateful for your amazing insights, your practical information. I think that's so crucial. I think that it's important to give people the practical side of things, because you're right, it's not always all about what you think. It is about what you're doing and how you're going about it. So thank you so much for sharing your insights. And don't worry, on time, y'all, we have buffers built in, so we're still going to be able to meet our end for today. And so no worries. I know speakers, we're trying to kind of bring ourselves back, but you are good to go, as we will still be able to meet our timelines for today, and everybody's time will be honored in this experience. And so with that being said, we have another speaker before we move into a musical break, which we'll get there very soon. So I'm very excited about that. The next presentation with with Miss Sheba Wilson, Daring Despite Disruption. Ooh, Daring Despite Disruption. Sheba Wilson is the CEO of Sheba Wilson Training Limited, a full-time service corporation, corporate training, executive coaching, and a leadership development company. And she leads her HR solutions and HR tech software and to streamline, recruit, onboard, employee engagement, retention initiatives for organizations. So she does a lot. It's a mouthful in itself just reading it. So I'm so excited. She's a best-selling author of the Amazon International #1 bestseller, Get Up and Lead, which was released on August 20th, 2022. And she's co-authored Voices for Leadership along with 39 other leaders throughout the globe. She's a Cornell University alum with decades of experience in the corporate world, and she blends personal experience and professional savvy in every presentation. She has over 10 years in experience in large-scale human resource departments and has risen to become a C-level executive in the hospitality industry. And as an executive director of the Maxwell Leadership Team, she is certified to facilitate, speak, train, and coach individuals and groups. She's a DISC certified trainer and consultant. Wow, Sheba Wilson from the Turks and Caicos, we are so, so happy to welcome you to the stage. And so with that being said, come on to the front platform.
Thank you so much, Sabria. It's a pleasure to be here. I am inspired already by all of the previous speakers. Great reminders, some of the things we know already, but sometimes we need to be reminded of what we already know, because we have a tendency to slack off and forget to do the things that we know we should be doing. So I'm grateful for what has been poured into me today. And I just pray that what I share today will be an inspiration to you ladies. So, daring despite disruption. And I just want to take you on a quick journey with me. I'm going to share a bit of my personal story with you. These words, Munkaf, I'm going to be gone soon. You're young and beautiful, and you have so much going for yourself. When I'm gone, I want you to live. Please don't stop living because I'm gone. Please just live your life. You can do that for me? Can you do that for me? These words were shared with me on my husband's final day of life. His hands frail, his frame thinner. He held my hands in his and he shared those words with me. In fact, that day, his face looked so radiant that it somehow indicated to me that he would pull through. So I questioned what he was talking about. And I reminded him that he would be okay and that he was going to beat this. With teary eyes, he looked at me intensely and again repeated to me, please continue living when I'm gone. Find love again, remarry, and live your life. I want to tell you ladies that those words were hard to hear and even more difficult for me to accept. You see, my faith was strong, and I believed that my husband would beat cancer and that he would live. Yet he died. Just 2 months after the passing of my best friend, and 4 years after I had lost my father to a brain aneurysm, my husband took his final breath, losing the battle to stage 4 prostate cancer. How much should one person have to endure in this life? So much pain, losing so many people that I loved and needed, people that were so close to me, and losing them so close together. How? Why? Why now? Why me? Why this? 8 years ago, the dreaded words, "you have cancer," disrupted our lives. Death and its finality changed everything. It came in like a whirlwind, hard for me to see what life could possibly be when my world was turned upside down and I was left spinning in multiple directions. At the time of my husband's passing, my son Caden was just 2 years old. And I was afraid. I was alone. I felt inadequate and ill-equipped to navigate this new life with all of its challenges and uncertainty, even as a woman of faith. There were times where I felt I couldn't do this, that it was just too much. And I want to say to you this afternoon that you may be facing something terribly difficult in this very moment. You may have a painful ordeal that you're dealing with at this present time. And you may find yourself questioning whether it will be the thing that completely shatters you. But what if? What if that thing that came your way wasn't sent to destroy you? What if that loss, that pain, that heartache, that failure is the very thing sent to propel you to God's intended purpose for your life? And I want you to just pause and consider that for a moment. You see, disruption causes disorder. It changes the natural order or flow of our normal activities. Disruption has the power to force us out of our comfort zone and into seasons of immense growth if we're willing to step out of safety. Safety represents the familiar. It's clinging to the past and longing for the comfort of what was, what we knew, what we're accustomed to. Growth requires us to get uncomfortable, to face adversity head on with a determination that we are going to conquer it. Growth says to us, let that thing go. Let that person go. Growth says it's time to move in a different direction. Growth challenges us to part ways with what no longer serves us, to accept that a particular season has come to an end, and to open our hearts and our minds to receive the unknown, the new, the scary. Cancer disrupted my life, and it was scary. It was tough. It was so unexpected. Death changed the way that I live my life and the way that I'm teaching others in my sphere of influence to live theirs. When I lost my husband, I was left with 4 young children, and expenses were beyond my income level. The view seemed grim. I really had no clue how I would make it. But what I did have was a determination and a made-up mind that I had to figure it out, and I had to push forward because my children needed me. You see, my children became my why. They were my reason for being. And let me tell you, there is power in a made-up mind. You see, those final words that my husband shared with me the day before his passing replayed in my mind each time I felt hopeless or helpless. I heard his voice saying, live, 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 live. It's hard, but you're still here. Keep living. There's so much that needs attention, and resources are few, but keep living. It hurts. The pain is debilitating. I don't feel like getting out of bed. I want to lay here in my sorrow, but get up. Keep living. People are whispering. I don't like being the topic of discussion. Girl, get up and live every day above defeat. You are more powerful than you think. You were created in the likeness and image of Christ Jesus. Get up and dare to lead your life despite disruption. I was determined to live. He was gone. I am here. And that meant that God still had a purpose for my life. And God still has a purpose for yours. You see, I discovered so much about myself after losing my husband. And the reoccurring themes in my life have been grace and grit. I'm often asked, how did I just carry on? How did I achieve personal and professional success? How did I just start a business, ran for public office, raised children, volunteered in my community, and wrote a book? My response has never changed. It's always grace and grit. Accepting God's grace, giving myself grace, allowing myself to grow through the painful experiences, building resilience, becoming intentional about my time here on earth, and leading and living each day with a tenacious spirit. Grit is the strength of mind that enables us to endure pain and hardships. Grit starts with our mindset surrounding pain. Our view of pain determines our response to painful experiences. So if we see pain as something that we must avoid at all costs, or something that we need to escape as quickly as possible, we won't have the mental strength to endure painful circumstances and to be able to overcome adversity. No one wants to experience pain. I don't know anyone that does. I don't know anyone that walks around and says, give me pain, I want more pain. But the reality is, sometimes pain is necessary. Consider it a necessary evil in order for you to be able to grow and to step into your God-given purpose and destiny. Truth is, had I not lost my husband, I may never have had a reason to grow. I was comfortable. My husband provided a level of security, stability, and comfort for our family that didn't require me to do much. I had become lazy. Yeah, me, the go-getter, the hard worker, the hustler. I had become lazy. I had become complacent and, quite frankly, lazy. I didn't have a reason to work on myself. I didn't have a reason to start a business. I didn't need to write a book. I didn't find it necessary to lift my voice. I was stuck in comfort until death disrupted everything and thrusted me into a season of immense growth. That's the power of disruption. The pressure of disruption will either burst the pipe or it will clear the drain. But either way, the passage is going to become clear so that you're able to see that there is more for you to be and more for you to do. There is an opportunity, despite disruption, to become. There is an opportunity, despite your present circumstances, to become all that God has predestined you to be. He knew this before you were formed in your mother's womb. God has more for you to become. I've developed an acronym for grit that I want to share with you. Growth, resilience, intentionality, and tenacity. To live with grit, you have got to grow through what you're going through. And that may sound cliche, but it is absolutely true. You must have the mindset of a victor and be determined from the onset of disruption that you are going to learn the lessons in the valley and use them to propel you to your destiny. Don't blame anyone for your circumstances. Instead, look at yourself. Go internal and have a good look at yourself and determine what is it that you can do to better or change your situation. Then take action, because action is what changes things. Recognize that resilience is a muscle. We've got to stretch it. It cannot grow unless it's stretched. Growth happens when there is tension. And John Maxwell, my mentor, talks about the law of the rubber band in his book, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. The law of the rubber band says growth stops when you lose the tension between where you are and where you could be. So you need tension. You need the tensions of life to keep you stretching. The more you stretch, the larger you expand. So keep stretching. See disruptions in life as an opportunity to build your resilience, to stretch and grow yourself and enlarge your territory. Know that intentionality is the key. Intentional living requires you to get clear about your personal values and beliefs, as well as the life that you desire for yourself. So I ask you today, what do you envision for your life? Not someone else's picture of success, not someone else's life. What do you envision for your life? And once you know that, you need to live intentionally. Living intentionally requires your personal commitment. It's an agreement you make with yourself to achieve your desired outcome. No matter how much time, no matter how much effort or resources it requires of you. Making that personal commitment is going to invoke a strong feeling of intention and give you laser focus in order to achieve the desired vision that you have for your life. So it involves a clear life's purpose, a plan of action. And the previous speaker spoke about the importance of action. And it also requires determination. Be intentional about what you give your time, attention, and energy to. Ask yourself, will this get me closer to the vision that I have for my life? Or will it pull me further away? Does this action align with my personal values? Does it align with my beliefs? Does it align with the vision that I have for my life? Listen, let go of what doesn't serve you. Let go of what is not going to elevate you. Let go of what and who ain't taking you closer to your dreams, your goals, your vision for your life. Let them go. Some people cannot go into the season that you're called to go into. So don't carry baggage with you. Let it go. Leave it behind and allow God to move you into the next season of growth that He has planned for your life. And finally, you need to possess a tenacious spirit. Your resilience and your willpower has to be greater than any circumstances around you. Tenacity, by definition, is the quality of being able to grip something firmly. It's the quality or fact of being very determined. It's the quality or fact of continuing to exist despite the disruption. It's the quality of persistence in the face of disruption. So my question for you is, what are you gripping firmly? What are you gripping firmly? Are you gripping firmly the things of the past that you know you need to let go of? Or are you gripping firmly your faith, God's grace, your commitment to doing what is necessary to get you to the next level? The thing is, you can have a tenacious spirit and pursue all the wrong things. The things that are not serving you well, the people you know you need to let go of, those old habits that are holding you back. What are you gripping firmly? Be tenacious in pursuit of your next, your best. We're talking about daring despite disruption. To be daring is being audaciously bold, having an adventurous courage. Daring means that you see the challenges, you feel the fear, you experience the emotional toll of the pain, yet you are determined to rise above the ashes of your circumstances like the phoenix that you know you are. You are bold and courageous enough to face your fears head on and conquer them. There's a saying that goes, you never know how strong you are until you have no choice but to be strong. Friends, I've lived those words. And there are many more people throughout the globe who are forced out of comfort and into growth through their disruptive circumstances. And they have lived those words too. And some of you here today have lived those words. In December 2016, just a year after losing my husband and my best friend, I took the audaciously bold step to run for public office as an all-island candidate. Now, some of you may be asking, why would she do that? Having just lost her husband, limited financial resources, still grieving, trying to find my way, learning to navigate my new normal, mother to 4 young children, I boldly stepped forward to serve my country. I did it because I heard the voice of God telling me that it was the appointed time to run. So of course I obeyed. And I had the expectation that I would win the election because after all, God told me that it was the appointed time to run. So if I'm running, I must be winning. But I lost the election, yet I won. I lost the election, yet I won. I returned to work in January 2017 to a promotion to Director of Human Resources. And a year later, I received another promotion to Group Director of Human Resources. I started a business in the midst of a global pandemic. And I've watched it grow over the last 2 years consistently. Daring despite disruption requires us to step forward and do what God says, even if we're afraid. Even when we can't see or understand the full picture. Daring requires us to make bold, unpopular choices. Daring requires us to drown out the voices of naysayers, discouragers, and pessimists, and stay in tune to the voice of the one who holds our future in his hands. So today, I dare you. I dare you to see your circumstances as fuel. Let it light a fire within you to be more, to do more, to pursue more. I dare you to reframe your negative thoughts surrounding disruption. If you are in a disruptive state, if the natural order of your life has been suddenly changed due to circumstances that are beyond your control, circumstances that you didn't envision, things you couldn't see coming, I dare you today to see that disruption as a catalyst for immense growth and an opportunity to step into your God-given purpose. I dare you today to flex your resilience muscles and show disruption. Who's the boss? You are tougher than you think. And you possess the DNA of an all-powerful, all-knowing, and ever-present God. You've got it in you to face disruption, to fight fears, and to step into your fears. This conference is titled From Fear to Fears. So step into your fears, and fight those fears. I dare you today to live intentionally, to get clear on your life's vision and take strategic action towards the life you desire. I dare you to forgive yourself for past mistakes, to learn the lessons and move forward. I dare you today to detox from negativism, from pull me down Peters and negative Nancy's. Let them go. I dare you to surround yourself with a tribe of like-minded, growth-conscious, goal-getting women of faith who will support and uplift and encourage you to be all that God created you to be. I dare you to tell disruption, you came to destroy me, but I'm going to use you as fuel to propel me to the greatest version of myself this world has ever seen. So say these words with me, ladies. I am not fearful. I am fierce. I am equipped. I am empowered. I am encouraged. I am inspired. I will lead. I will live every day above defeat. I am daring despite disruption. Now go lead. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. I have chills. I mean, just the level of just energy and this, oh my gosh. Shiva, thank you for sharing your story, for sharing, I mean, so much pain, but yet so much beauty. It's just an honor to share space with you in this journey. And thank you. And we felt every word, every emphatic word that you have said today. Ladies, it has been a beautiful journey and we are almost rounding the corner. Just all of this, I hope that you just take the time to breathe it in, take in the wisdom, and don't let it overwhelm you. Take what you need and give to others what you can't use. And so with that being said, I want to turn it over to our wonderful performance and then we'll move into a break. So I know it's about time for a break here too. So the wonderful Betty Lamini Dr. Betty Lamini will actually be giving us a beautiful performance, a song, if you may. And Dr. Betty Lamini is an award-winning author, educator, entrepreneur, researcher, singer, and speaker. She has over 35 publications and across so many languages. And she's also had a screenplay of Just Once, an educational field, Tell Your Child, a radio play, numerous stage plays. Her book, The Eagle, From a Chicken Run to the Sky, A Woman's Walk of Faith, has made her a magnetic. As she's received invitations internationally to speak. She's had all of these amazing things. She's done Zulu English translations for BBC Channel 4 and Amnesty International. She's also a professor at Indiana University, and she received 3 of the highest awards of excellence in teaching and research. Highest awards. And she has been to 12 countries and 20 states as an international speaker and has sung as a guest artist internationally. And today she is here to grace this event with the song, Rise and Shine. And so without further ado, Dr. Betty Lamini, please take it away.
Firstly, thank you, everybody. I just want to give you the background of the song because if I just sing it, it could be like entertainment, but I really want you to I want to give you the context of how I came to sing this song. I composed the song in 2021 while I was experiencing what I thought was the best time ever in my career. But I knew within me that I had no business staying in that job. I had just received the two of those awards of excellence and another one in 2018. But right here, I knew I didn't have any business staying there. So I started singing and speaking to myself. I would say, Eagle, like you know, the book that was just mentioned. I would say, Eagle, rise and shine. I kept on speaking to myself because I was afraid. I was like, how can I leave this job and keep going? So I sang everything I'm singing here. I said it to myself. And I'm saying to you ladies, when I say soar and fly higher, change your lane, there are lanes that have to be changed in our lives. There are lenses that have to be changed, how we view ourselves, how we view everything. So thank you. You can move if you like. This is a
and fly away. Eagles spread those wings and fly away. Eagles spread those wings and fly away. Change your lane, 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 change your lane. Eagles spread those wings and fly away. 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 Fly higher, fly higher, and higher, and higher, and higher. Change your lanes, change your lanes, change your lane, change your lane, change your lane. Fly higher and higher, fly higher and higher, and higher, and higher, and higher, and higher, and higher. Fly higher and higher, fly higher and higher, and higher, and higher, fly higher and higher.
Well, sisters, friends, I had to stop there, but really my final words to everybody is, let's just know that we have brilliance within us. I like using the acronym of my name. Everybody, we bring brilliance, and we can have excellence that if we do not change the lane is really suppressed and is not helping anyone. And for me, I tell myself that I always bring brilliance, excellence, truthfulness, the truth, the very person that I am, tenacity, and I'm always yearning to be the best person that I can ever be. So all the speakers that have spoken, I feel like they were feeding into that. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and what a day. Thank you.
Oh, Dr. Betty, oh my gosh, so beautiful. I hope you're seeing the chat of just how much love there is for what you shared with us. I know I felt every note, and I hope that others here felt every note. I felt the emotion. I felt the realness. I really do hope that you all have the eagles in your spirits, and that you all fly, fly, fly. We all fly and we fall, but we fly again. And thank you so much for sharing your beautiful craft and gift with us. I am so very excited to bring in our last two speakers of today. Can y'all believe it? We have had several speakers. It's just been amazing. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or yeah, well, 6.5 with our wonderful presenter, Dr. Betty. It's been amazing. And so I'm so happy to now present the wonderful Dominica Staniewicz, also known as Your Brain Coach D. So very happy to welcome you. She is a brain life coach certified by Dr. Amen and Amen University, and an elite neuro recording specialist, founder member of the Neuro Recording Institute, MS, and she has an MS in sociology, BA in education. She's a public speaker, expert featured in multiple times, and she helps you gain freedom from your past with the neural recording method. Working with her provides them skills to say no without feeling guilty. Her clients regain happiness. They have feelings of empowerment, belonging. They live a healthier, easier life, and they're able to get rid of anxiety and depression. They get to rediscover that there's more to life than what they are living, and she is able to help bring them organic happiness, and it doesn't depend on outside circumstances that they have no control over. She has a unique holistic approach that includes the client's physical well-being, their brain health, their spiritual values, psychology, and environment. And she will share the tools that have allowed her to go from chronic depression, child loss, a feeling of not belonging, and being simply miserable with a purple light on the outside, to a truly thriving and happy woman that loves life and that has decoded happiness in her DNA. So your brain coach D, she is here to bring the topic, stones into feathers, become unstoppable. And so, Coach D, I turn it to you.
It is an absolute pleasure. I am so honored to be with you all. And I know I'm not supposed to do this at the beginning, but when I was listening to Miss Sheba, our stories are so similar, and you will see that today. And I want you guys to thrive. I want you guys to survive, but not in a survival mode, but in a thriving mode. And it will be my honor to tell you my story, how I turned these things, stones, into feathers. And to start with, I will use a little bit of presentation that I did not host disable screen sharing. If you could enable me to share a screen, I have just a few slides that will help me in the presentation. I am an elite neuroencoding specialist. For those who attended any of Tony Robbins events and Maxwell, there's this gentleman, Joseph McElveen III. He is a neuropsychologist. He opened an institute of neuroencoding, and I have the privilege to be one of them, but it's not about me. I want to see, can I share a screen now? Can I? Yes, I can. Fantastic. Okay. Share. And this is super awesome. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a privilege, and I want to ask you, what do you prefer? Stones or feathers? And you go, what a weird title, right? Stones and feathers. What do they have to do with anything? Well, they actually do. And I'm not going to tell you yet. What I am going to do, I'm going to ask you, and I would love for you to tell me if this reflects you. So have you ever experienced any of these, or have known anybody who has experienced any of these? Put a 1 in a chat if this is true. Is any of this you or anybody else that you know? Put a 1 in a chat. Now look at the chat. Look at the chat. We have all experienced something traumatic, violence, racism, depression, anxiety, whatever it is for you. And yet you are still here. You are still here, and you are my hero because you showed up. Because you took those stones that you're carrying and came here. You are present. You are looking to change your life. Now, do you see how many ones are in there? You are heroes. So I want you to give yourself a pat on the back for not giving up. Pat yourself on the back and say, I did it. I'm awesome. Now, with your permission, I would love to tell you a story, my life story that will lead into where I want to go, because I want to give you a tool that will change your stones into feathers. Can I tell you a story? Put a 1 in the chat, please, so I know I have your permission. Fantastic, thank you. Story of my mom. I was a little girl, you know, a 6-year-old girl. My mom was traveling, and I was waiting by the door. Mom, you're here, you're here. Hug, can I get a hug? Please, can I cuddle? Dominica, I'm tired, just go away, okay? I'm tired, later. A feeling of rejection, being unloved, hurt, unwanted, set in. Isn't it interesting how just one reaction can implement this feeling of being not wanted, not cared for? That was my first stone. Then I turned 18. Life is beautiful. You know, I get to do whatever I want, right? Finally, I get to decide about myself. And I fall in love. Butterflies, dates, beautiful time. I mean, it's amazing. Can you imagine how amazing that is? I'm in love. We move in together, and it is a life experience. He's abusive. I have a gun to my head. I get hit. I get raped on a daily basis. I'm worthless. I get pregnant. I'm 8 months old, pregnant tummy. I'm tired. I'm scared. And he wakes me up at 3 a.m., throws a glove at me, a white glove, and goes, "Clean, bitch." So on my fours, I clean and I clean. I'm so not worth it, worthless. I'm just nobody. I got to do what he says, right? But I'm lucky. I'm so lucky. I could put on a bathrobe that night. I was covered. The time comes, I give birth to my son Patrick. But while I'm giving birth, I die. I die for 3 minutes. And I come back. I think that the only reason I was brought back is to save my son. Because there's no value in me. I mean, obviously, it's my fault that it rains. It's my fault that the sun shines. It's my fault he has a bad day. At the last grip, I know that this cannot be true. But the feeling of being unwanted again, being worthless, not having value, sets in again. And again, somebody from the outside creates my identity. Isn't it interesting again how people who surround us create who we are? That was my second stone. That was my second stone. So I run. I go to the police and I go, "Hey, look, guys, I don't know. I don't care. But if you don't save me, I'm going to kill myself and my kid." They help me. They put me away in a safe house. Oh, they help me and protect me. And I look over my shoulder every day to make sure that the abuser isn't there. I'm 19 with a small child. And my only purpose is to serve the child, right? Because I have no value. And at 19, one of my best days is when I go to soup kitchen. And that's when I get to eat bread and veggies and meat and a soup. It's so amazing. It's a full meal. Now, don't get me wrong. My kid has everything, but it's not enough for me. He does find me, but thankfully, down the hall, there's a police officer with his wife, so I feel kind of safe. Yet the fear is there, and it grows, and it becomes part of me. One day, I get out of the shower, and I go to check on my son, taking a nap, 16 months old. I walk into the room, and I go, Patrick. He's not moving. He's blue. He's not breathing. I start giving CPR. I want to save him. I want to save my child. The ambulance is cold. The police is cold. And when his little body sets into rigor, I sing him a lullaby. Były sobie kotki dwa. I don't remember the next 2 years of my life. That was a huge stone in my backpack. Why me? It's not fair. I'm a good person. Why is this happening to me? I can't live like this. I want to die, but I don't want to die. I want to change my life. On top of that, I push everything away and I go, I'm good. I'm going to pretend that I am good. So I become the most masculine woman you can ever imagine. Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger can freaking learn from me. I'm just this powerhouse going in and out, working with presidents, being on TV. I'm just amazing. Am I? Seizures? I'm epileptic. People see me as a drug addict because grand mal seizure looks like an overdose. And the only thing they've seen ever on TV is an overdose. And I'm divorced now with 2 kids, twins, and I suffer in silence. I'm carrying a whole freaking mountain in my backpack. I can't run anymore. It's heavy. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I come home and cry every day. So I decide to do something about myself. I'm about 26 years old. I go to therapy, gets a little bit better, but not so much. So I hire a coach, 1 coach, 2nd coach. I start reading books like John C. Maxwell. I go into Tony Robbins events. I get another coach and I keep going and going. And I realize that I have to change because what's happening to me is my life experience. And that's not what I want because I am designed for more. No matter if you believe in God or future, whatever you believe in, I'm designed for more. This cannot be life. So I want to ask you, how many stones are you carrying? How many stones are you carrying? Because they're weighing you down. If you're about to go further faster into 2023 or wherever in your life, those stones are holding you back. They're preventing you from becoming the best version of whatever you're supposed to be. Stones are in your backpack. You're walking around every day with your past experiences and how you perceive them. So what did I do? One of the trainings I took was an elite neuron coding specialist. And that's where I learned how to reframe things. Reframing was the key and a magic wand that took time to change those stones into feathers. Now imagine your past experiences becoming feathers. You still carry them. You still acknowledge that they were there, yet they're not weighing you down. They're just there as a reminder that they built you to become who you are today. They're not holding you back. They're building your wings, those feathers. So how do you reframe? How do you change those stones into feathers? You might say, oh no, my life was so difficult. No, I can't do it. I mean, I get it, but no, this is just some magic. It is magic. It is absolute magic. So let me tell you on the story of my son who died. Now, I could have chosen, and that's a very important word, chosen to stay in my pain and say, I'm so unhappy. Life is miserable. This is not for me. This shouldn't have happened to me. Why me? Why me? Why me? And keep going and suffer and live in suffering. And suffering is a choice. Pain is something that happens to you, but suffering is a choice. You choose to stay there. And I chose happiness, and I want that for you. I chose to remember beautiful moments that my son gave me. I chose to remember his smile. I chose to remember that he taught me how to love unconditionally, and I can now give it forward. I chose to make him my stepping stone, a future, something that gives me hope that I can connect with women who went through the same thing or any other type of trauma. I chose to reframe his death and experience to something that lifted me up. I can give you another example that came from another one of my coaches that coaches me. She goes, Dominica, I have a client. And I'm like, okay. And he's adopted. He believed at the beginning that he was given away because nobody loved him. He believed he was given away because he was worthless. He believed that he was just nobody. Now imagine He doesn't know. He never met his parents. He's 17. It is something that he imagined and he started believing, and that defined his life. Now imagine we change that belief that he was given away because he was so precious and so worth it that his mother or whoever was his parent gave him away because he deserved the best. He was so precious and important that she and he want to give him a chance. Imagine if he would go through life believing that he's so important and so crucial, and he has so many great things to do, that somebody chose to put themselves aside so he can have a better life, that he's so precious. How would his life experience actually change? How would he see his life if he would believe that he's so precious that he was given away so he can have a better chance in life? So reframing is a choice. You reframe your experiences, and guess what? What's good and bad, it's always available. You choose what you believe. You choose how you see your past life, and if it's going to lift you up and make you a better person, somebody who thrives, or, well, you'll just stay there and be weighed down. There's no way you can fly with those stones. So the magic wand of reframing and changing those stones into feathers is reframing your past. I've managed to change my backpack into full of feathers. And don't get me wrong, once in a while I get a stone, and that stone now gets reframed. I look at it, I look inside of me, and I go, what value did that bring to my life? I'm not dismissing the pain. I'm not dismissing the hurt. I acknowledge it and I feel it, and then I reframe it into something that can serve you. Do you think this tool of reframing could be useful to you? Put a 1 in the chat. Do you think this could help you change your life and fly and become a better you? Somebody who has dreams and hopes and is not looking back. If so, I will be very happy to help you reframe your stones into feathers. I have a few more things, because the science of coaching that I do and brain training and everything I tell you besides the spiritual part has also a part of science. I want you to look at these SPECT scans. These are pictures of your brain. One is a healthy brain. The other one is fearful. When you move into fear and pain and anxiety, your brain stops receiving oxygen. And this is what you see on the second picture. It's science. You can't think as well when you're stressed and fearful. Letting go of those stones is allowing your brain to function properly, allowing your CEO of your life in this present moment to become much more efficient and guide you outside of your spiritual life. See, the other picture is the overreacting of your brain. If your brain is overworked, it's not going to support you. Everything is connected. We're not separated. Our spiritual life is not separated from our body. Our body is not separated from our brain and our heart and our feelings. One of the most important things in reframing that led me to be almost grateful for the best tool I ever heard is something that I learned from Joseph McElwain III. Is what you think is what you feel. What you feel is what you do. And what you do is what you have. And that process goes backwards. So if you don't want to have what you have, change what you think. And that happens in your brain. And that triggers what you feel. That triggers what you do. And that triggers what you have. But this works the other way around. You can change your life. You can change those stones into feathers. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a pleasure. And I hope that feathers will be the dominant part of 2023 and rest of your life. If you have any questions, this would be the time to ask.
Thank you so much, your brain coach D. Oh my gosh, brain coach D, brain coach D. I just, first of all, just the pain that you have experienced on your journey, it is an honor that you are willing to share it with us and that you have given us permission to experience alongside you. You and Sheba shared such heart-wrenching yet such beautifully transformational stories that goes to show that we don't have to remain stones. We can truly take our story and make them move into feathers so we can fly like eagles. You see that there, that connection there? And we can truly do that if we only look at how we perceive and how we move about our lives together. Now, I know many of you, I want to also mention there may be questions that may come up and stuff like that throughout today. We will have a small period close to the end today just to give people a chance to share and to ask. And then also in your kits, your goodie bags, which I'm going to drop that goodie bag link in the chat. In your goodie bags, you'll have the opportunity to access all of the speaker information. And so you can always reach out to them directly on their website. So please do check out the goodie bag that I've just dropped that link in the chat and go ahead and get access to this. This is all free goodies from each of those speakers that you have seen today. And now, certainly not least, even though it is our final presentation, our final speaker of today, Nikki Gen Jimmy is joining us. Yeah, girl, I remember you told me to remember Jim, and I did not forget that. Yes, Nikki Gen Jimmy today is going to share with our final talk, Eliminate Doubt with CALM, and CALM in all caps and an acronym CALM. So we've covered how to get through the brokenness. We've covered how to deal with the fact that we have to face our demons. How do we do it from a space of calm? Nikki is an international board certified master success and life coach, master NLP practitioner, master hypnotherapist, author, and founder of Mindful Matters, LLC. Though she calls herself a personal trainer for your mind. That's what she calls herself. She has all those fancy titles, but she said, I'm here to train your mind, baby. She helps entrepreneurs break through the limiting beliefs that hold them back, and she uses her CALM framework, CALM acronym, and they are able to feel more motivated and achieve the results they want. Mindful Matters, LLC, live life happy, no matter what. So I'm super excited to turn over to the wonderful Nikki as she will round the corner for today. And yes, y'all, I made a wardrobe change because I have somewhere to be after this. So I know y'all probably like, what is happening? But yes, that's what we do. That's what we do, ladies. So with that being said, Nikki, take the spotlight.
Thank you so much, Sabria. This has been wonderful. I love how at each speaker, we all just have built upon each other. And I'm going to just close us out with CALM and share another framework that you can use to go from the chaos in your mind to clarity and confidence. So I'm going to share my screen with you because I do have a presentation. And feel free to slideshow. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you can see my screen. Thank you. Okay. And I'm gonna minimize this, so I move that out of the way. Feel free to take snapshots of some of the slides because I'm gonna give specific examples of how to use this 4-step CALM framework. So in the next 15 minutes, you're going to learn this framework, like I said, to help you go from chaos to clarity and meet your goals through CALM. How to replace overwhelm and stress, which we learned just now from Dominica, that is not healthy for our brains. How to replace that with grounded confidence and motivation to make empowering decisions that lead to better results. And how to sustain your energy, focus, and motivation even when you're not getting the results you want. And I know one of our other speakers spoke about that earlier. So Sabria already introduced me, so I don't have to tell you any of this. I am excited to say my CALM Method book just got published last night on Amazon. The ebook is available and the paperback will be available in the next couple of days. So when you want different results, as we've learned here today, the change does start on the inside. It's actually an inside-out job. Commitment is one of the keys to success that I have found, specifically asking yourself, what am I committed to? Am I committed to my old stories and the problems that I've had? Or am I committed to processing, healing, and committed to the results and the outcomes that I want? Because the truth is, we're all committed human beings. Not a question of whether you are. It's a question of what are you committed to? And you get to ask yourself that every day, multiple times a day if you need to pivot. Also, self-integrity. Are you being self-integral? Are you doing what you say that you want to do? And when you notice that you're not, again, it's just using that as information and feedback, and then recommitting to yourself to stay in integrity. This is one of the fastest ways you could develop trust with yourself, is to do what you say you're going to do. The biggest key that unlocked so much in my life is that self-love. When you can start to love yourself and learning how to do that, your world on the outside just changes. And finally, habits of thought. Our thoughts are habits, and we've got lots of negative thoughts that are on repeat, a program like a computer running in the background that's slowing it down. So when you can create new habits, and I'm so excited Dominica spoke about reframing, because that is part of the CALM method. So I'm going to share some examples with you. So again, new and better results. How can you consciously choose? Again, we heard that word today. Consciously choose to direct your focus in a way that drives better decisions and results. And we heard a variation of this just before with the think, feel, do, have. It's the same. T. Harv Eker. Thoughts lead to feelings, feelings lead to actions, and action leads to results. I love the alignment of all of us. So you might be hearing things repeated, but it bears repeating, because sometimes, well, most times, we need to hear things more than once to understand it at a different level. So the CALM method is a 4-step framework, like I shared, and it really is the solid foundation. You need to have a solid foundation, right? Just like when building a house. And it's the first step in creating positive change. Again, on the inside, so that you can get the results that you want on the outside. And being a former teacher, I taught for 15 years in elementary school before resigning from that job in 2019 to finally say yes to me and do what I wanted to do. I had to change from the inside in order to create a business where I could thrive and be successful. So back to, I just got my train of thought back, why I brought up school. We weren't taught how to think. We were told what to think. So CALM teaches you the basics that we didn't learn in kindergarten, how to think and how to process emotions so that you can move forward from a clear slate. Very quickly, CALM was created in 2020. I was doing a money mindset training for a jewelry company, and the second team that asked me to present happened to be March 2020. And I got a call 2 days before the speaking and was asked to do something different because money mindset was no longer appropriate when the world shut down for the pandemic. So after being in a tizzy for a little bit, I said, I'm going to practice what I preach, go to sleep, and I intend to wake up with an idea that's going to be just right for these women. And I woke up with the word CALM in my mind, and I can clearly see each letter stood for a step. So why CALM? Because some people, like entrepreneurs and business owners, we want to be a peak performer, but there's power in CALM. CALM is the portal to power. I really believe that. It's the beat that the orchestra leader takes before the music fills the theater and the powerful music follows. It's that moment that the swimmers take before they dive into the water and powerfully propel themselves across the pool. And of course, the calm before the storm. So when you get calm, you know that you're on the verge of something powerful. So a quick bird's eye view of calm. The C is to become conscious of the emotions you're feeling and process them. We have to process our emotions. We don't want to push them down. And it's not healthy to do that and carry these emotions for years. So become conscious and process them. Step 2 is to become aware of the thoughts that you're thinking, that you're telling yourself, and ask, are these facts? Be a lawyer. Are these facts, or are they beliefs, opinions, worries, projections, attitudes? And there's a bonus question for this, and that is, if your thought is a fact, then you ask yourself, what am I making this mean about me? And that leads us into the third step, L, which is to lean into what else is possible. If what you're telling yourself, the thoughts in your head that's causing the emotion that you're feeling, if the thought is not true, then here's where the reframing comes in. What else might be true? What's another option? And this is where you are then able to go into step 4, which is the M, make a new decision and take action. We've been talking about taking action all day today. Yes, you do have to take an action, and when it's inspired action, you're more likely to get those results that you want a whole lot faster. So just to recap, before I share a couple of stories to make this tangible for you, the C, you notice that you're having a circumstance that is unwanted, and you feel these emotions. And we are electromagnetic beings. So what you feel, it's like a radio station. That fear, the doubt, the anger, whatever it is, you are projecting that into the universe, and you will be given more of that same vibration back. Okay, so process the emotions. Step 2, the thoughts, the language, the beliefs. Those are the filters in our mind, and they will determine what you see in your world. Step 3, the reframing and changing the filters. We're taking in, according to neuroscience, 2.3 million bits of information per second through our 5 senses. We cannot be consciously aware of it all, right? We're only consciously aware of 126 bits of information per second. What you're aware of has to do with your filters, what you focus on, what you expect, and what you believe. So when you change the filters and you focus on the results that you want, you change your life. So here's an example of boundaries. If you have any issues with setting boundaries in your life or want to set healthy boundaries in your life, put it in the chat. This is a specific example so you could see how calm works. So this client that I was working with had boundary issues with her family, and the C is, she felt guilt and frustration. We process those emotions. Step 2, the A, the thought she was thinking, I have to sacrifice for them and they don't meet me halfway, and you could read the rest of them on your own, but you could see how these thoughts are going to lead to guilt and frustration or some other unwanted emotions. So after you write these thoughts down that are not serving you, and you realize that they're not facts, that they're beliefs or opinions or attitudes or interpretations, then step 3, you reframe, you lean into what else is possible. So she started reframing in this way, how family is always there for you, but they don't always know the right things to say or do, and that's okay. This is where her energy softened, and that guilt and frustration started dissipating. And her new decision was that she gets to choose the things she participates in, and that she's the driver of where her business goes. So she felt a lot more empowered to make a decision that the first hour of the day, when I get up an hour early, is for me and my business. There's no negotiation with that. That was her boundary that she set, so that she can also be in self-integrity with what she wanted. The second example story is business and prospecting. And this client was feeling doubt and overwhelm in the new financial practice that she started after leaving her 9-to-5 job. The thoughts that were causing the doubt and overwhelm is, I'm only booking 6 meetings a week. I don't want to bother people. I don't want to be the pariah on the playground. She's a mom, and when she picked her kids up from school. So those thoughts were not facts. So she reframed them. Together we did this. And she said, I'm working towards doubling the number of meetings I book next week. Notice the difference in focus from the A to the L. And going from, I don't want to bother people, which how is that helping her, to I get to educate, inform, help, and guide people. And that everyone everywhere is a potential prospect. And I choose to focus on nurturing relationships. And then her new decision for M was, I'm a natural nurturer, and nurturing is the new prospecting. How powerful is that? She reframed prospecting as nurturing. And that felt a whole lot better in her body so that she could lead with positive emotion when she did reach out to let people know how she could help. So I just want to share this because we all want tangible results. These are the tangible results she got from implementing Calm and doing the subconscious programming work. She met her goals, right? What you focus on grows. So focus on what you want. And it's a practice. So last thing I'm going to share before I recap is the bonus question for step 2. Sometimes what we're thinking about that's causing us to feel unwanted emotion is a fact. And we can't just pretend that it isn't. So when that's the case, you ask, what am I making this mean about me? Specific story. This client was feeling hurt and sad in her relationship with her husband. And the thought she was telling herself was, my husband doesn't ask for my opinion when it comes to making important family decisions. And she said, Nikki, that's a fact. I said, great. What are you making that mean about you? And she said that I'm not important and that what I have to say doesn't matter. And do you see how these two thoughts are directly correlated with hurt and sad? So we reframed these since these were beliefs. And she said, I'm in the process of believing I am just as important as anyone else. And I'm beginning to see that my voice matters. I love using these transitional phrases. I'm in the process and I'm beginning. When you can't fully step behind a new reframe, you're just not there yet. You're starting to believe it, but you want to make it believable when you give these reframes so that you're not putting lipstick on a pig and just giving yourself lip service. It doesn't work. And then her new decision in the 4th step was, I acknowledge how I feel and I'm stepping into who I really am. And several months later, she let me know that rather than getting a divorce, she made her way back to her husband. So things can change. So you've got to practice this, embody it, and live it. This is not a one and done. This is mental hygiene for your brain. Conscious of the emotions you're feeling in the unwanted circumstance. Become aware of the thoughts and ask if it's true. Lean into what else is possible and some other options, and make a new decision and take action. And those are the 4 steps to calm. And in the gift you'll be receiving, you will get the guide for exactly how to do this, along with some other goodies. So I want to thank you so much for your attention. And I will stop sharing my screen and turn it back over to Sabria. Thank you.
Nikki, thank you. Thank you so much. I love the practical steps. And I just love that it really, truly what we focus on compounds our lives. And that's the most beautiful thing about all of this. And I'm just so grateful that each of you took the time to share your truth, your story, your experiences today. Just everything you have done today has created hope in someone, whether you see it right now or it's something that you will see in the future. Just know that your life, your experience is something that we all desperately need to thrive. And I know I made it with the wardrobe change. I realized it was really cold. See, Florida is one of those things. It's not it's colder than we think out here. Okay, y'all think it's warm out here, but it's not right now. So I had to make another update. I know y'all probably like, what is happening? But with that being said, I want to just open the space for just the next 2 minutes or so before we wrap up with the amazing Dr. Stem, for what are some final thoughts? Any final thoughts, participants, especially as you listen in today? Thank you so much for joining. Please drop in the chat or share anything verbally. Feel free to unmute. what will you take away today? What will you do to bounce back on your journey today? You got a lot of tools. I know it might be a lot to comb through. I'll give an open minute for that. Anybody who's participating that wants to share, please drop it in the chat. Or even
like to go ahead.
Go ahead, Dr. Betty.
For me, being intentional and taking action, it all goes back to that. We could know all of this, but without taking action, we'll just be staying.
That's it. That's it. So true. Anything else? Anybody else?
Sabria.
Yes.
I would just like to say, like Dr. Sim's book, one of them is titled Unstoppable. I may not have the whole name, but anyway, being here today made me realize even more, hearing the stories of all the women, they were amazing. I am so happy and I feel so blessed that I was able to be a part of this and to hear the different stories and be encouraged. So thank you, women, for sharing, and we are unstoppable.
Yes, beautifully said. Absolutely. And I see in the chat, I have so many takeaways, says Nicole. The greatest one here is hope after brokenness or hardships. Boosie says, thank you for the presenters, amazing life lessons and advice. Thank you for sharing your experiences to encourage us all. Thank you. We are queens. We have to keep our crowns intact. Yes. Oh, I will never forget that tiara moment that Dr. Anita brought to us, because it was such a, that's what we need. Just those jolting moments to remind us, yes, not a figurative, a real tiara. Going back to just thinking about all the things that the speaker shared. So I want to go through again, and I want to thank Natasha. I want to thank Dr. Anita. I want to thank Nadia. I want to thank Sweta. I want to thank Dr. Sitsi. I want to thank Sheba. I want to thank Dr. Betty. I want to thank Dominica. I want to thank Nikki. I want to thank all of you. Nadia, did I miss any name? I don't know. I'm kind of make sure I got everybody. Thank you to all of the speakers. Thank you, thank you, thank you for taking the time to share your wisdom, your story, your experiences today. We are honored. And I want to turn over to Dr. Sim for any final words to be shared as we wrap up for today's event.
I like that. I like that one thing. So in the chat, just a one, could you put in there if you would love to read each and every one of these stories in a book, a bounce back book? Just put a one in there. It's been on my heart to do an anthology, series for Bounce Back. But today it gave me goosebumps. I'm like, whoa. So I think with this group, we're going to start that Bounce Back book. So just put a one so that I know that you all were just amazed at these stories. But most of all, it just said what I said at the beginning, that each one of them or all of them are going to speak to your heart. Ladies, you all spoke to my heart. Sabria, thank you for being so amazing. And thank you, ladies, because I don't want to lie to you. The people that will watch this and, ourselves who were here, we can tell that you all just put your all in it. It's not something that was done out of the whim. You literally prepared and it showed, and we thank you for that time. Thank you for allowing us to bounce into 2023. Everyone, thank you so much. Next year, we're going to start, doing these live as well. So just look out, because I would love to see you live. Let's dance live. Thank you once again for coming in, participants and presenters.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you, thank you.
Welcome. Welcome to the Bounce Back Empowerment Conference. Now say this with me. Bounce back. Yes, I can. Unstoppable. Unstoppable, free and fearless. Unshakable.
Bounce back, bounce back. Unbreakable, unshakable. Nothing stops you in your track. Bounce back, bounce back.
Let's bounce back in 2023.
Uplifted, inspire, feel your positive unpack.
Never, ever. Never giving up. encouraged, uplifted, inspired, empowered, motivated.
Bounce back.
Shout out to rapper Dr. Tim.
Unbreakable,
Not only is she a speaker and an author, she's a rapper.
Bounce back, bounce back. Uplifted, inspired, feel your positive unpack.
Yes, 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 I can. Yes, I will. Yes, I believe. Yes, yes, yes. Heart, be still.
Bounce back, bounce back. Unbreakable, unshakable, what stops you in your track? Bounce back, bounce back. Uplifted, inspired, feel your positive unpack.
Bounce back, bounce back, bounce back.
Well, everybody, thank you so much again for joining us. Stay tuned. Bounce Back is just beginning. Happy New Year.